All right. Welcome back to the Stay Gold channel. Got Matt, Alex, Noah, Joe back at it. Some Denis Villeneuve films.
Heck
Getting
yeah.
getting into the middle of the career, getting into the good stuff now, I'd say, for Villeneuve, which is
If you're
nice.
curious why we're
Yeah.
so sad, it's because we watched 2 of Denis Villeneuve's movies this week.
Yeah.
It's a dark day here
It
in
was
this house.
depressive era.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, I cried like twice during Incendies. Like
Really?
it
Wow.
fucked me up. Yeah.
I definitely
Shit.
like welled up. I like had like a something in my chest.
Mm,
I was like, ooh.
it
Yeah.
hits. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into Incendies then. We're going to talk Incendies and then Prisoners. These were our two this week, but let's just get right into Incendies. I think this was maybe the one I was most anticipating out of the filmography because I hadn't seen it, and it is in the top Letterbox 250. So I mean, the hype's real.
God damn.
Did it live up for you guys? What'd you think of Incendies?
Yes and no, I would say, personally. I just feel like and maybe this should fall under the nitpicks area category thing, but it just felt like the gimmicks kinda took away from, like, the seriousness of it. And gimmicks, I mean, like, the twists that happen. I don't know, a lot of coincidences and, like, chance occurrences that happen for a narrative's sake and for shock value
Yeah,
kinda takes
drama.
away from, like, the overall, I don't know, importance of what it's trying to say. But, I mean, I get it. I get why it does that. It is a movie after all, but anyway, it was pretty good, though.
Oh. Cool.
That's fair. What do you guys
Yeah.
think?
Yeah, I didn't really care that much about the gimmicks. I don't know. To me, it felt
Yeah.
real and fine. I don't know. I was in it, but I don't know. But yeah,
Yeah.
I liked it. I didn't know that this movie was like hyped up. To be honest, I have never heard of this movie before. So
Same. So you
Yeah, I think this is really his like breakout movie where
dude, and you can
people are
definitely
like, "Oh,
tell because we were talking about it after the last one, and I'm kind of glad he took a 10-year break because
mm,
I mean I feel like I don't know.
yeah."
I don't know. I just feel like
Comes back with a
this,
little more maturity, a little more
yeah.
Yeah.
like intention. I'd say.
yeah.
I kind of get what you're saying, Alex, about like a little bit of the gimmicks. Because to me, I
Mhm.
felt like if you've ever seen Old Boy by the original is Park Chan Wook, and then Spike Lee made a remake.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I've only seen the Spike Lee one. I'm that kind of
Same.
guy, but yeah, no, there's a big twist at the end of that that's like family related in a way that this movie seems to kind of take a shine off of in a way I felt, but
Interesting.
and it didn't like really like ruin things, but I did feel like I could feel the mechanics at work of a mind who liked that type of thing in a way, and
Mhm.
it
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I see what you did, but I'd say overall everything up to that stuff really effective, even
Mhm.
though I don't want to experience this movie again, probably I'd say,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
it was
Rewatchability is a
really
little
good. Yeah,
but no, yeah, I agree. I had a good time with it. I think like the only thing I found like a little maybe like gimmicky or confusing were the like title card, whatever you want to call them, the big like they're either
the
places
cities.
or people, and I was
Mm,
like a little confused by those. But
Yeah, because there wasn't really like consistency.
right, right,
Yeah.
it's like so what are we, like who are we following or what are we doing here? That was a little confusing.
mm.
But other than
Just
that, yeah,
shows,
man,
like
it was a.
no, go ahead, sorry.
I was just say it's a compelling story. Other than that, like human, very human.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was really powerful to follow someone who's like has no ties to any of like the military or whatever militia is going on at this time. It really
yeah,
is just like a vessel for somebody trying to like walk through the chaos and like just make it to the fucking other side. Like
Yeah.
yeah,
no, we don't get any like politics of like the war really. We only get like visceral experience, which is effective for a movie. You know.
yeah. I mean, it made me look up some of the history that was happening at that time, just to
Yeah.
see like what that was. So, I mean that's success if you ask me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Definitely.
don't know.
Yeah, pretty like cool the like looking back at history too aspect of the movie where I mean we can talk I'll get into some of the categories later, but like it's
Yeah,
such a like the generational divide of what trauma and like life is vast for different
Yeah.
generations.
Yeah.
And this movie explores that pretty well too. But one final note before we get into some categories, anyone else get some Ari Aster vibes? Like early inspiration, Ari Aster's. Like I felt some Midsummer at the beginning of this movie in a way.
I could see that. Like the long,
Mm.
like
The pool
dahlias on
shot
the
where she's
yeah,
swimming under the
that too.
water. I was like,
Yeah.
uneasiness is like setting in the like,
hmm
and
Well, the first shot alone was just like enough to make it a little unsettling because like you could just see hatred and all kinds of stuff on the boy's face, and it was just kind of like, damn.
Yeah.
So this is the tone.
hair on the
Got it.
shoulder. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
nice frame. Yeah. But yeah, the only way I could really describe it is like a reality horror, where it's just like you have to like sit in like the traumatic things that can actually happen in real life ish, and like that's what horror is, and it's like fucking yes, it is. Oh my god, like
Yeah.
Definitely. It's like you try to get up and they're like, nope, stay down. Push, kick.
Right.
Enjoy that now. You know? So
yeah, you're fucking throwing
simply
through
that
it
over and over again.
in this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And then that fucking haymaker at the end. It's just a fucking finish it off.
Damn.
Yeah.
All
Crazy.
right, we ready to get into some categories then for this one? It was
Let's do it.
Yeah.
a bit slim for me. This one you kind of just experience and you don't really try to. I don't know. I was like internalizing
Yeah.
things, but at the same time, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna kind of let this one wash on me and let it
Say,
do.
I felt like engrossed in it to the point where I was like, I don't even
Yeah.
know. I don't think I'm qualified to like comment on this. You know what I mean? I
Yeah.
don't have the experience to. Yeah.
Well, let's grasp at some straws then. What do you guys think the theme was for this one?
Shit, man. So this goes for both of mine. Like I was saying, where I put like what parents will do for family. That's what I was like. What they'll go through for family, kind of.
Yeah.
That's kind of all I found in this one is like family and parenting. So and war maybe, but
Yeah,
didn't write that
I
one down.
just put you don't always know your parents' struggle or the generational trauma can end. I don't know,
Yeah.
but those
It's a
don't
good one. I
good.
like that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had how do you find peace in a world of complexity? Because I feel like they're at the beginning of this movie, they're talking about finding peace, and there's a lot of like peace talk, and then there's like a part in the classroom where the lecture is about like how things add up or like they
Yeah.
come together or stuff like
Right.
that. And it's just like through all this like chaos and whatnot, it's like how do you find like your own peace? And yeah, that's kind of what I gained.
I can behind that.
Definitely.
Not bad. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Moving on, favorite shot.
I really liked the opening. I'm pretty sure that was the opening shot was the boy getting his hair buzzed. I think that was pretty like haunting and kind of really set the tone and feel of what this movie was going to be. And also just cinematically, it was very pleasing to just watch.
I
And
agree.
it's just like I can
Yeah.
see that Villeneuve was just finally like hitting his stride. Because moving forward after this is just like beautiful stuff, you know?
Mm-hmm.
I felt like
Definitely.
that also helped like solidify the tattoo because it shows the tattoo like a couple
hmm
times,
Yeah.
and I feel like it's supposed to be like I don't know, so you don't forget about it pretty much because
Yeah.
it's gonna come up at some point.
Mm-hmm.
For sure.
But yeah, that first shot was good.
That's what I had too. Yeah, definitely.
I don't know. I didn't put much. He did a lot with like off center shots again,
Mm.
which was interesting because I feel like he made it work in the next movie, but for this movie, it was still like more of the same from his last two movies, where it's kind of like out of frame, where it's like off center, and like I don't know, it's kind of like that, just
Mhm.
because.
Yeah. It's a
Um,
style to start with. Yeah.
The only other thing that I wrote down, because like I don't know, like you guys, I didn't really take like a shit ton of notes. I kind of just watched it.
Yeah.
There was like one shot at the beginning that was like from the sidewalk of like the truck, but it was just like a still shot as they're like having this conversation. I don't know. It was just kind of interesting, but it didn't
Mm.
really like I don't know.
Yeah.
And she walked like out of the shop and it was like towards the
Mhm.
camera.
Okay, cool.
Was that? Oh, was that
Nice.
the attack on the campus and all that? Or
Oh no, it was like literally when they're walking out of the notary's office and they're
Yeah.
on the street getting into the
oh,
truck.
gotcha. Okay, cool.
Nice.
If I had to pick one, because I didn't write this one down either. I'm just like drawn to that bus scene where they're like on the ground and it's like up, you're like watching them climb up from the inside, and
Yeah.
I don't know, just harrowing. I remember feeling that whole
Terrifying.
scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah,
Yeah. Good
A
choices.
lot of cool desert shots
Definitely.
Yeah.
or like nature-y shots.
Hmm.
Like this just had me like ready to watch Sicario again. Like I'm really looking forward to hitting that one because it's a little
nice.
bit more upbeat too, and it's less,
Yeah,
but it's still
Yeah.
like,
Less dreary.
yeah, yeah. But definitely a lot of good scenery.
yeah.
Yeah. Some peace in the calm, eh? Which leads me to favorite quote. It's early on. It's the son. He's like yelling that he's like happy that his mom's dead or whatever, and he says, "I feel so fucking peaceful."
Mm,
Yeah.
yeah,
Kicking a car. I'm just like, yeah, okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's just his
my
first month.
favorite was for a notary, a promise is sacred. I just like that one.
Mm, yeah, that
And they
scene.
live up to it too.
Yep.
Yeah, oh,
I don't
shit.
remember who exactly said this. It might have been the mom, or it might have been somebody with the newspaper. But its ideas only survive when we're there to defend them. I just felt like
Ooh,
that was pretty
Nice.
important.
Yeah.
I like that. I can only think of the end quote. I even forget it, honestly, but it's what the mom writes on every letter she gives to all of them. It's like, we survive together, or it's something about being together as a family. I
Hmm.
don't know. It was like that. Fuck, I'll look it up. But yeah,
Yeah.
Imagine being that guy and just reading those and being like,
dude.
damn.
Yeah. Wow. I have to rethink my entire life and existence and fucking
Yeah,
mistakes and like, yeah.
it's fucking crazy. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
That was just, I don't know. Like I saw the twist coming like 2 steps ahead, just a little
yeah,
bit. Like I saw, like when they said that she got pregnant in prison. We know it's not the son, so it's kind of obvious that it's the twins. But the big twist I didn't see coming until a little later on. But I was just kind of like, damn. When he was reading that, I can only imagine. You know, I don't know.
uh,
I feel like in that
A lot of
situation,
emotions.
that guy probably maybe makes it even darker, but I just feel like he would just kind of just kill himself. I don't know.
that was
Like
Yeah.
my thought,
knowing that
dude.
knowing
That,
that about what you've done and like you spent like you were willing to be a martyr so your mother would know your name, and then
yeah,
you come to find out she finds out that she does out his name, but it's for something completely. Anyway,
yep,
this is such a
yeah,
fucking depressing movie.
It's
Holy,
dark, man.
Pretty
yeah,
fucked.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Crazy shit.
God.
All right. What do you guys think was the best performance in this movie? For me, it's an easy pick. The lead performance of the like main mother.
Mom.
I'm gonna
Yeah,
Yeah,
butcher this name. I think it's like Luna Azabal. Fucking killed it. I mean,
yeah,
yeah,
had to carry it.
definitely.
for sure.
She did it all. It was great performance. Great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Talk
like
about
through the years too, as she gets older, like
Yeah.
carrying all the weight, like on just expressions and whatnot. Just really well
yeah,
done.
dude. I
Crazy.
mean
She
that.
was 30 at the time of filming, and they did it from 18 to however old with just makeup. That's how they aged her. Just
Damn.
makeup.
Mm,
Cool
mm, mm,
stuff.
mm.
Man,
You don't need the millions of dollars.
yeah.
That's fucking right.
We don't need the what is it, the Tom Cruise deepfake? We don't need that shit
Hey,
all
hey,
the
don't
time.
As long as it's
don't
Watch
speak
it.
ill on his name. All right. Anybody but him.
All right, fuck.
everybody else. Yeah.
I don't want Scientology coming after me, so all right, fine.
Fuck Scientology. I'll come after you. All right.
All right, what did
But
you guys think was the best scene in this movie? A lot of options, I'd say.
Yeah, that's tough.
yeah,
I'd
I think the
probably go with
coolest
the whole
scene.
bus sequence.
That's pretty good too. I thought
That's
that
what
was
I was gonna say too.
That's
But
pretty
like
Yeah.
good.
when I was going over these categories, I'm like, I don't even no, like
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had the bus scene
yeah,
as
Yeah,
well.
the bus
I
scene
feel
is
like
solid.
that's where things just take the turn for
Yeah.
the dramatic in a way that's
yeah,
hard to
holy shit.
forget.
Captures everything that it needs
Dude,
and then just
when
runs with
she
it.
like
And
tried to save the kid and
Right.
it
Yeah, that's
still
what makes it
died.
worse is
Yeah.
like her trying to help and
Yeah.
then the kid like running back. Like they don't get to. And what happened in my brain was like they don't get to die in each other's arms now, and the situation
Yeah.
is that much darker in a way of like
Mm.
I don't know levels of like complexity of like her trying, but then her trying made it worse in a way of like the inevitable was always coming and like yeah. But also what makes it great is it cuts to the modern day with like the daughter riding the bus and it's like
Mhm.
totally different, like nothing to worry about, and she's like listening
Yeah.
to like Radiohead and it's like
Yeah.
grasping at true darkness, and that's what I think is really smart about the movie is the juxtaposition of those two stories. But
definitely, I think the way he edited it too was like perfect. Just the transitions from present to past were like flawless and
Dude,
great, like
sometimes I
segues.
like couldn't tell the
Yeah.
difference between the mom and the daughter. So like sometimes
Same.
I'm just like, all right, are we in the present or the past?
yeah, I felt that
Mhm.
definitely.
Mhm.
Yeah, man, good stuff. Favorite proper set? I did not have one for this category.
Ooh.
I just put like some of the scenery of the buildings.
Alright. Joe's taking a trip to Lebanon sometime. Future.
Wants to go. Feels safer now, right?
Yes. Should be.
I think.
Yeah.
I would hope.
Should be. I don't know. Should.
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't know.
yeah,
Besides the letters, I don't think there's anything.
letters are good. Nice
Yeah.
handwriting on the letters.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. For an old frail, I don't even think she's that old. So, question for you guys before we move on: do you think she decided to die, like after she finally found her son? Like that was her whole life's journey, like goal. And then when she
Yeah.
figured out who he was, she was just done. Because after that, I mean, that's when she kind of gave
Yeah.
up.
I
Yeah.
guess.
That
Do
makes
we
sense.
see when
Yeah.
she figures out it's the son? Like, are
Yeah,
they like
at the
what age
Pool.
the
pool.
kids are?
It
Like.
was
It was at the pool.
Well, I know
yeah,
at the pool, but
Yeah.
like, do we know how like old she was? When like.
Oh, I think it was like, I mean, pretty close to when like they were meeting with the
yeah.
notary because she
Yeah.
I
said,
think it was
I don't
like
know,
a
she
week
said
or
something
two.
about how
And
her condition like started or something like that.
yeah,
So I'm
Oh,
assuming she
really?
was just like that, like in that weird state for like, I don't know, a couple
Then
months,
yeah,
Wow.
that's
Yeah.
maybe a
like right
couple
at the
years,
end.
I guess.
Then that's
But
kind of
It's like
crazy.
catatonic of them.
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of what I figured. I just felt like at that point, I mean, I fully believe people just kind of give
Yeah,
up sometimes,
gotta have
and
a
I feel like
purpose.
that's just what she did.
For
Yeah.
sure, man. I mean, I know not to get too personal, but I know when our grandma died, it was like for our grandpa, it was a pretty quick decline in health because it's
Yeah,
like
Yeah.
your will
yeah,
just goes
nothing
away.
to
I think.
live for. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's
So
definitely typically how it works, especially for
yeah.
spouses.
Mm.
Mm.
But I could see that she just declined after that like shock in the pool and all that. And,
Yeah, her
yeah.
purpose was fulfilled, and it was just kind of
right.
like,
More poetic in a way.
yeah,
A bit. Yeah.
like the turtle from Kung Fu Panda,
Yeah.
with the
yeah,
wind.
Yeah. She turned
exactly.
into
That's a
whatever
true poet,
plum
man.
blossoms.
Kung Fu Panda, baby. All right, double
Uh,
feature.
Shout out Jack Black.
Prisoners?
Of course. Is there prisoners? Okay, I
Prisoners?
can
Okay,
only
okay.
really go into Villeneuve's filmography too. I put
Yeah.
Maelstrom. I feel like that's an appropriate double billing
Mm.
for this one.
I actually put the
Horrors
brutalist.
of having children.
Nice.
I don't
The
know. I watched it
Brutalist.
like the day after, I think.
Nice. Just
Because I
linked
don't
it
Uh,
for you.
know. I think I don't know. Yeah, I mean, didn't have similar themes, I wouldn't say, but like they were both pretty depressing sometimes. I mean, this was way more depressing than The Brutalist, I'll say that, but like, I don't know.
Both like immigrant stories, that right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
could see that.
yeah, I would.
Sicario wouldn't be bad either. It's a pretty good vibe.
It's good.
Hmm.
And by
Yeah.
vibe, I mean like cinematography and
Yeah,
just overall
not a
like
good vibe,
feel.
but yeah.
Oh, in the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Any other double features?
man, I don't know. I'll have to think
Yeah,
of one.
this was a hard one,
Get
I
one.
feel like.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Honestly,
it's hard to
Yeah.
Old
match it
Boy's a
up.
good one.
What was?
to pair with Old Boy, like you mentioned earlier, Matt. That's a
It's
pretty
got
good.
that twist. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
got that feel.
I gotta watch that one.
Who
I'll
would you
think on it. I'll stew on it.
recast? Cool.
I said the brother.
The brother, because he's the
Yeah,
school
Which, like,
shooter.
also the brother is
yeah,
it's that guy category
Yeah.
for me because I'm pretty sure he's at least in like the
Oh,
last one,
oh,
right?
I
Is
think
he
He's
the
the shooter.
killer?
Yeah.
Is he the
Oh,
shooter?
is he?
yeah,
Oh, really? Oh,
yeah.
shit.
I
I
just
didn't
knew
even
he
know.
was like in there, but I couldn't remember like what part. But yeah, I
Hmm.
thought so. Here, let me see.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's
hard to
hard to
match
like.
up to that level of like hype within the story of the brother. You know, it's like,
Yeah,
did he need to be more grizzled? Was he too like cute? Like what? You know what I'm saying? Like what was the
I
problem?
personally, I just don't know if I bought his like angst or something. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
Mm-hmm. You
I
didn't
don't
sell
know.
like the trauma enough.
Yeah, something like
yeah.
that. Yeah,
Hmm.
It was like
I feel that.
we got like no
yeah,
background for that, like their relationship.
right.
Like he was just mad at her, and we had no idea like why. But she seemed
Mhm.
like everything she did seemed like she was a good mom. So like I don't really
Yeah,
know why
there
he was
it is.
pissed at her.
Wait, are you guys
Yeah.
talking about the brother like with the twins?
Yeah, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Shit. At least
I
that's
was
who I
talking
was talking
about
about.
the brother where they like find the brother later on.
Gotcha.
Oh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's my
You
bad.
mean
I
the
was talking about
dad?
the twin brother.
the dad brother. Yeah,
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 the
The
yeah.
brother
dad brother.
dad.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
not what I was talking about.
Okay,
Sorry.
I
Me
see.
neither. You thought he should have been recast though?
That's what's like when the build up for him as a character is extreme, and to like get to
Yeah.
him where when he's reading the note, I didn't really feel what I
Mm.
think I should have felt. You know, it's like I
Yeah.
kind of wanted more, and like I think I don't know if you heard it, Alex, but I was like, did he need to be more grizzled? Like what was like about that actor? You know, that I was like,
Yeah.
I
I don't
definitely
it doesn't
feel
sell
you
it.
because I felt the same thing when you read the letters. I feel like there should have been more of a reaction. I don't know, like
I would have
maybe
needed to sit down,
contemplate
man.
Yeah.
Like,
suicide or
yeah.
something, or be like,
Ooh.
When I was
yeah,
opening the second one, I would just be like, "Wait, what the fuck?"
Yeah, what?
but it was just the way they described him as like this, like cold-blooded, just
Yeah,
Right.
war
warlord.
machine,
Yeah,
and
Yeah.
then he's some janitor, which made me think like, okay,
Yeah.
in a way, this
But
is
he's still
interesting
some
because
dad,
then you could think
son.
like, how many janitors are out there that are
For the
actually just
family.
fucking war
secret
machines
warlords.
that can, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know.
Mm,
Everybody's got a past, you know.
Damn.
It's just
yeah.
how well you cover it.
Yeah, I just wanted, I guess, a little bit more out of that character or the performance. But
That's
why'd you
fair.
guys think the twin brother didn't sell it?
I think I agree with what you were saying, Joe, of
I
like
just felt like he didn't
the
do.
nature
I
of
don't
their
know. Like the
relationship and
story didn't really give a lot of backstory to like why they were pissed at each other. But
Yeah.
I just felt like he didn't really do a good job of like selling it to me either.
saying I feel the
I don't
same.
Okay,
know.
that's fair. I mean, that leads me into my nitpicks, which is that we didn't have enough build up in the beginning of the film to drive home the importance of the mother's storyline. I felt because in the
Mm.
first 5, 10, 15 minutes, I didn't really know like what story I was in for, as in a
Yeah.
way, you know, like, and I
Yeah.
guess it was nice to figure it out. But in a way, I was like, let me pitch like a new opening for you. Like instead of like the zoom in on the child, which is my favorite shot, like I would still like to see that in the movie somewhere. Maybe we get like the final breath of the mother in her deathbed to start the movie, you know, and like the last
Mm.
like fire going out, or like the last ember of the fire of this woman's life, and then
Yeah.
we learn about like her.
And
I
then
don't
we
know.
go into like the intro credits, and then it's the kid,
And then
right?
hey, you know, I mean, I just
Because
needed
like I don't know, it's
a little
hard
bit
to have
more.
like two impactful like scenes at the very beginning of the movie. You know what I mean?
Right.
Right.
Yeah. Too slow. Like, yeah, no
I mean,
word
I'd be okay with that. I think, or
shots.
like having like the mom there for like in old age in the present day for a little bit
Hmm.
at the beginning.
It's
I
an
feel like
Yeah.
option.
I could like sell their relationship better, like between the
Right.
mom and the twins.
Right. That's what I
Yeah.
needed. I felt.
Yeah.
But any other
I feel
nitpicks
that.
from you guys on this one?
That math
Besides,
teacher, he
oh,
couldn't talk about anything besides math. Everything he said was math metaphors, and I'm like, why? This is
Yeah.
like this guy's entire identity.
Not the
I
brain
don't know.
Yeah.
works
It's
for
just
him, man.
dumb.
Just thinks
Yeah.
in numbers.
I could see it.
The one
I could see
lens.
it be his identity.
Yeah.
Yeah. My only
Professor.
nitpicks were like I mentioned earlier, just the twist factor. Like it just like I get it. it was effective, but at the same time, it just was like makes you think, oh, is this just like a Christopher Nolan movie? You know, you're just like, oh, this is the Prestige. We're waiting for the reveal.
Top is
I
still
don't know.
spinning.
You know, so
Yeah.
it just kind of took me
happening
out
the
of it a
whole
little
time.
bit.
Yeah, do you
And then
think
the
like the effectiveness of the story would have been the same if it didn't have the twist? Because to me, when I think of this movie, I'm gonna think about like the bus stuff and the mother going through like the prison stuff.
Prison.
yeah,
The the secondary like family stuff is gonna be nice, but it's not gonna be what like I go back
Yeah,
to.
honestly, I agree with
Yeah,
that because I
that's a good
feel like it
point.
was like the first like 90% of the movie that like really had an impact on me, and then finding out that the dad or the brother was also the dad, I feel like I don't know. Yeah, I could totally see it coming, and I feel like that
Yeah.
wasn't really as impactful for me. Like if that
Yeah.
even if that wasn't even a plot point, I'd be okay with it. And they're just like,
right.
I
Yeah.
don't know.
It
So
just
yeah,
drives
Yeah.
home just how fucked up the situation is. Like just like
Yeah,
it's
I
that
guess.
fucked. It's like okay, fuck,
like,
man.
The
it
world
worked in
sucks.
a way
shit.
to where like the boy was born from both bloodlines, like both sides of this war that's occurring, and so like when he's an assassin for one side, then he gets captured and becomes an assassin for the other side. So it's just like I don't know, and kind of maybe drives home the point of war is just kind of pointless, and no matter what, we're just senselessly killing each other. You know, it has
Yeah.
nothing to do with sides. It's
Yeah,
just
we're just all
you
trapped in
know,
it.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
we're
So
all
I guess in that way
prisoners.
it worked. Him
Wait,
being
wait,
the
wait, wait. Yeah.
All right.
Okay, guys, got any clever girls then?
I would
I
say
don't. I didn't
I
really.
I wouldn't call it a
Hey.
clever girl, but I did notice at the end when she meets with the leader of that one group at the end when she gets out of prison.
Yeah.
It's on the same bridge that
Chomp
she
the D.
crosses like earlier in the movie when she's like crossing
Uh,
back to the south,
Oh,
which I thought was
Mhm.
kind of interesting.
nice.
I didn't
I
even
didn't
notice
catch that.
that.
I didn't even
Yeah.
know. I don't know if that's like supposed to be known or if that was just like they
Little,
were at this location and wanted to film a couple
Oh,
things.
bro, that's
Or,
Yeah.
that was definitely thought out. Yeah,
like,
like
yeah,
the imagery had
90%
to
of it
be
probably.
right. Yeah, coming back to it.
Clever girl. I don't know, man. I would say, just kind of what I said earlier. Like, this definitely like intrigued me on like world politics outside of America. You know, I was like, damn, this is shit happening in a completely different place in the world and completely different people and worldviews. And I was like, it just made me curious about that. So, if anything, I think that's a good, clever thing. So,
For sure.
yeah,
People should watch it just to expose themselves, honestly, to certain stories and stuff like that
yeah,
outside their
couldn't
own
hurt.
bubble.
Right.
yeah.
Shall we move on? Speaking of bubbles, could a TikToker watch this?
Yeah.
I
What?
put
You
I
said yeah.
put yes actually
Put
with a
no.
7.
Okay.
I was
2 out of 10
even
Couldn't hurt.
TikTokers.
In
I
like
was
originally I was like no,
One.
but honestly, I think the TikTokers would be in for how fucked up it is. They would be like,
Oh
"Dude,
yeah.
support this cause," because like I don't know, I just feel like
ah
Mhm.
that's
Maybe okay.
yes.
that would be
Yeah,
the only
I care
reason I would
about
say they'd be in.
refugees. Yeah.
But like other
Right.
than that, I still think that they will lose like attention within like the first like 20 minutes.
Yeah,
Easily.
Definitely.
But I don't know, yeah.
it's a good point. Appeals to the activist side of the
Mhm.
yeah. I could see that.
Yeah. I'd say 2 out of 10, honestly. 2 activists that really care on TikTok that are like, you know what? I will
The
donate.
two the two people who posted
Yeah.
the
And
black
then
square
everyone
on
was like,
Instagram back in the
swipe.
day.
Yeah.
So
Where's my
my question
cooking
is
shit?
if TikTok gets banned, do we have to change the name of this category or
I guess, right?
Oh shit.
I mean, what would we name it? I guess there's like
Yeah.
reels
Instagram
or
Reels.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm,
But
we'll
this
have to,
it's
we'll
kind
have
of
to
a different
workshop it.
vibe, for other stuff.
yeah.
Definitely. Definitely.
Hmm.
There's no AI voice that I've noticed in those.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Maybe
That's me.
would it be like is an iPad kid too harsh? Like could an
No,
iPad
that's
kid watch
actually
this?
Not
I'll
too
take
far
that one.
off. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one. Can an iPad kid watch this? Perfect.
We
I
got
like it.
backup. We got in the back pocket just in case.
Alright.
Cool.
I'm gonna edit some stuff.
Shit.
Okay, let's finish up Incendies. Sequel, prequel, or remake? I said no.
So,
I mean, technically, this is a remake, right? Because this is a play, or it was
yeah,
written as a
I
play.
guess so.
Or...
stage play
Yeah.
or something. Yeah.
I say remake it. Everyone makes it out just all right. No
Yeah.
death, no trauma.
No
The bus
prison.
breaks
Yeah.
down. The militia drives by. They fix the tire. They both wave,
Yeah.
going separate ways. You know,
Everyone
like,
agrees on one religion and
Right.
one
yeah,
God.
everybody's happy. I'd love to see it.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just put none.
No,
like,
no dads are also the children of the moms. You know,
Yeah.
nothing weird
that
like
Yeah.
that.
could
No
be.
The
incest.
American South gets a little revamp.
Mm.
Sorry, that was a little crazy.
I think this is like honestly the biggest one that we've had yet, where it's like just don't touch it again.
Yeah.
Honestly, for me,
Yeah.
I think you
for
could
me, for all
make
of
an
us.
argument for sequel. But it's like, should
Yeah.
you?
Do
Yeah.
we want to see that? Do we really
Right.
want to go through that again?
Well, I do see the
That was
argument
beat up
though,
That's
where
heavy
it's like
stuff.
It would be like
brother
the
and
same thing
dad
from the
meeting
brother's
up,
perspective.
and like meeting
Something
up
like
with the
that.
I mean, the brother dad.
the
Sorry,
sibling
it would be the
kids.
same
The
thing
brother
for the brother
dad.
dad.
Yeah.
This is a fucked up story, man.
The brother dead. Yikes.
Jesus
Didn't have
Christ.
that one on my bingo card.
Licks his
Yeah.
chops in the prison. All right. Moving on.
How many stars for Incendies?
3.5.
Oh, I gave it 4. 3.5. Yeah.
I think I gave it
That's
4.5.
fair.
I'm gonna give it a
Yeah.
4. I think, like I said, I think you should expose yourself to like this movie. Does a lot
Yeah.
of things right. Certain things doesn't need, but pretty solid overall.
Definitely. Yeah.
Agreed. Yeah.
Okay.
Sweet. Let's move on to Prisoners. Prisoners may be my first Villeneuve movie I ever saw, honestly, thinking back.
Mine too, actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah,
This
I
was his
haven't seen it
breakthrough in
before.
America, so
Yeah,
That was it. Yeah.
definitely.
Okay. Makes
To
sense.
me, this feels like Denis' like first truly mature film. Like,
Totally.
in a way.
Yeah.
It actually comes mainstream. It's more chiseled. You know, it's got the Hollywood. Maybe that's why, but
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
feels like a real movie and a real swing for him in ways
Yeah,
that the
he
other
did
ones
this
haven't yet.
thing where like he took the out of frame shots and then he just like got real close to something and then he just zoomed in on it.
And that's growth, baby.
Now you know.
I don't know,
He
it's
did
just
the
a little
Daniel
bit
thing.
different, but like honestly, it's a better effect. Like I
Big
remember at the
change,
very
yeah.
beginning, there's like a tree that's kind of like halfway in, and like there's the house in the background, and he just like slowly zooms in, and you're just like, are we gonna see like a hand go on this tree or something? Like I don't know. To me, it was
Yeah, I
kind
know
of
what you're talking
creepy,
about.
and it gave me
I
like
agree.
the beginning of this movie actually gave me like Long Legs vibes, or like what Long
Okay.
Legs was like trying to do, kinda.
I feel
And
that.
then they went all weird
Yeah.
supernatural shit on it, but like yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's some eerie
But yeah,
shit
you
going
can definitely tell like he's matured.
Was this your guys' first watch through of it, or
No, I've seen
For me-
this a
for
few
me,
yeah.
times.
on.
Joe's first time.
It's awesome, man.
How did it land for you on first watch, Joe? Was it enticing? Was it, was it tantalizing, the case? and the-
Honestly, after I got done watching, I went on Letterboxd to like rate it. I was surprised by how highly rated this movie was. I thought it was good,
Yeah.
but I didn't think it was that good. And I don't know. I mean, I get it, but like, I don't know.
I mean, to be honest, I waffled on dropping this down half a star on this rewatch because even before I watched it, I was like, knowing the ending and everything, and knowing all the stuff that happens beforehand, like, is that going to detract from it?
Yeah, like a lot of the plot, I know like you find bits and pieces out as you go, but like I kind of knew that the mom aunt person was involved from the beginning.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's
And basically that told me because like fucking Paul Dano, fucking his character says they didn't cry until he left. So like he saw them, and then I'm just like, he's probably not the main antagonist. He's just like involved with the main antagonist somehow. I mean, probably somebody else might have been driving the RV, which like I think it was actually him. But like I don't know. At that point, I'm like, okay, the mom's probably involved. And then like when the priest shit happened, I'm like, okay, this dead guy in the basement's like probably not directly involved, but he's involved with this person like doing this one at least. I don't know. What threw me for a loop, I guess, was like the other guy who had also been like kidnapped. who was drawing all the mazes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Him, I didn't
Yeah.
really like know that much about,
No.
or like didn't guess that much about. But like, I don't know. I guess like for me, like I kind of knew like who the killers probably were the whole time,
Hmm.
and
Okay.
like I don't know. I just kind of was just
Interesting.
there watching this unfold, and I know that like yeah, they're all prisoners, but like I don't know, man. Like I don't know. I just like I thought it was fine. It was good,
Okay.
definitely. I just didn't think it was like 5 stars.
No,
But
yeah.
yeah, that's just me.
Fair enough.
It's a fair
Yeah.
experience. I kind of agree. Like even what you're saying, Noah, I think I had basically the same experience where on rewatch you kind of just have to sit there in the grim and you
Mhm.
don't get a lot of return back, I feel like on rewatch and like
Yeah.
knowing
That's
exactly
it.
like where the children are at all times. Um
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a 2.5 hour movie, it's
Yeah.
doesn't need to be. But
It's interesting you say those things didn't throw you for a loop though, Joe, because I remember my first watch through, I was like, what the fuck is going on here?
yeah.
I mean,
I
like,
remember my
I
first
kind
two,
of
I was
knew that Paul
hooked.
Dano
Yeah.
was like not the killer. I knew that he was
Yeah.
like once Hugh
He's
Jackman
got the
kidnapped his
IQ of
ass, I'm
a
just like
kid, whatever.
he's not the guy. Like he's probably involved or knows them, but he's not the guy,
Yeah.
because
Mhm.
like I
But
don't know,
then
they
he
were making
says
a
like
big
the thing
deal
where it's like they didn't cry after until I like left them or
until I
whatever.
left.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's
it's
like
just because like he's like mentally fucked up because he's like a kid
yeah.
and like
Right.
I'm just like okay, he relates to them and he probably wouldn't hurt them. But then
Mhm.
the dog thing did kind of make me second guess because I'm like, what the fuck is up with that? And also, I will say, well, maybe I'll just save that for the nitpicks. Actually, never mind.
Okay.
But yeah,
Yeah.
the dog thing kind of threw me for a loop, but still not really like that effective where it made me like totally think that he was still. I'm
The
just like, this is
track
just to
clear
deter
all the way.
me from thinking
Yeah.
that,
Yeah, for sure.
because it's like,
Okay.
I don't know, the movie's trying to get you to second guess the whole time. It's like, oh, which of these two guys is it? And then we're just like,
Mhm.
oh, it's none of them. I don't know.
The two weirdos.
Yeah,
No
right.
shot. Yeah.
I
What
don't
do you
know.
think
All
about
right.
it, Alex?
I mean, I still liked it. So I saw it a long time ago, like when it first came out. It was around that time. I remember getting it either from Letterbox or watching it on pay-per-view. Either way, it was with my mom as usual, and
Hey.
remember watching it and being like, "Oh, I really like this." So then I rewatched it a couple years back because I wanted Sarah to watch it, and it came on a streaming service, and I remember liking it more my second watch because I was a little bit older, and I was like, "Damn, this is really fucking good." And then just recently I rewatched it and then rewatched it obviously for this. So I've seen it a few times, but honestly, it just kind of stays kind of from my second watch through. It stayed at that like perfectly good note for me. Like
I
it
guess
just
I
hits all the
could
notes. The
possibly see
acting's
this.
great. I
Yeah.
mean, the
Casting
story
is
is
phenomenal.
there. I mean,
Right.
yeah, it's a little bit similar to like Incendies where it has like those gimmicks, the twists that you're kind of expecting and looking for and stuff, and it might take away from the story, but I think it was pretty effective just out of performances, similar to Incendies, where like the performances of the mom really carries the whole
Oh
like
yeah.
twists and turns of it, you know?
Mm.
So yeah, I
Sure.
felt like I felt that emotion of like what Noah said for the themes of like what a parent would do, especially at the end. I thought that was like when I watched it the first time, I remember thinking like, what the hell? And then the second time I was just
Yeah.
kind of like, damn, that's stone cold. So
Mm.
Stone cold. But yeah,
Stone
I
Cold
could
Steve Austin,
definitely
baby.
see this being like better on rewatch.
Oh, yeah.
Or at least like it's still interesting on rewatch to like pick up bits and pieces that you didn't like
Yeah.
pick up the
I'd
first time,
say the second
Yeah.
rewatch, like I had the similar experience where I was like, bump that shit up, man,
yeah.
because it hits. But now that on like third or fourth rewatch, I think it's like it starts to go down again. You get diminishing returns with
Yeah.
this movie, but
Yeah.
maybe I don't know. It's
That's
unique
fair.
to this movie, I'd say, because like certain movies you can rewatch all the time, but this one's like you get a couple out of them, and then it's like you got it. I think.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it's definitely more challenging because of like just the dark overall premise and like atmosphere of this movie, where you're just kind of
Yeah,
like, do I really want to
Yeah.
revisit this that much?
yeah, I
Yeah.
There's
feel that
like
now.
Absolutely.
a companion piece to this, kind of stepping on the categories, but like the Zodiac, that's one I'd go back to before I'd go back to this. But it's like the perfect amount of dread and darkness,
Yeah.
that
I think
it's
Joe's
put
gonna
that
pick
down
the
for my
and
dread.
it's
double
like
feature.
3 hours long, but it
Nice.
doesn't
Nice.
feel like it. So
Yeah, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
there's a lot more happening in Zodiac where you're being strung along by the actual
Mm.
killer in that one,
Yeah.
and this one is just like you're kind of like
And there's sometimes
going
in
on these different
Zodiac where it's
avenues.
like almost even like comedic. Like the vibe changes, I
Yeah,
feel like,
Yeah,
yeah, a
throughout.
little
I don't
bit.
know.
It's a
It's not
David
always
Fincher
just like
special,
dark
maybe.
and fucking depressing the whole time, you know?
Yeah,
definitely.
got Robert Downey Jr. spicing that shit up. Yeah,
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, let's get into some categories for prisoners. Did you guys? What's the theme? I think Joe already said it for me. We're all prisoners, man.
Everyone's a prisoner.
Yeah.
Prisoners in
Right.
the pie.
That's what this movie's trying to say, right? I mean, I did kind of struggle to gain a genuine like message on this one, on this rewatch.
Yeah.
It's tough. Yeah.
That's pretty much all
Like,
I got. Everyone's a
Crime
prisoner.
is this kind of crime is bad. I don't, I
Crime
don't
is
know.
bad.
Well, I don't
Yeah,
know.
it's
I mean,
pretty
now that
good.
you guys said the
Yeah.
thing about like what would you do for your children, that definitely like fits here too. I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't have
Yeah.
kids, and I don't think I plan on having kids, so that's like not even on my radar. But like,
Good.
yeah, that makes sense.
This movie was like the straw that broke the camel's back. Then
I
definitely
do
have
not
fucking
need to
kids
worry
now.
about that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell no.
I need to go through a psychosis like fucking Hugh Jackman
Yeah.
goes through in this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, no shit. Well, you could become a
Okay.
doomsday prepper if you wanted to. So.
Dude, right? That's what that was like my first note. Like preppers? Question mark.
Could I invest?
There's something here.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Favorite shot? Do you guys have anything for prisoners?
I just put
I
like
didn't
the
have anything
zooms
in
and the
particular.
outside window shots,
Yeah.
but I didn't make them as like the best shot because like I don't really have one to be honest for this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You
I have-
just like growth. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I have the shot of the camper. The first time you see like the camper with like the
Mhm.
flashlights on it in the rain, I think, if there's rain or not.
Yeah.
From like from inside the camper
Yes.
out.
Yeah, it's a great shot. But also, when I think of this movie, I think of Hugh Jackman in the room with the hammer raised with Paul Dano against the wall. That's just the shot that I always think of.
Yeah.
Comes to my head.
Shit.
Definitely.
That's good. Yeah.
Favorite
Yeah, like-
quote? You were ready to move on?
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't think of a specific shot. That's
Gotcha.
all.
My
Yeah,
favorite quote, which I had never caught this before, or maybe it just never hit before, like since I wasn't in this sphere, I guess. But like the main 10-year-old boy, that guy character who has the mind of a
Mhm.
10-year-old, his name is Alex Jones. And at one point,
Oh.
Jake Gyllenhaal flat out just states to Hugh Jackman, Alex Jones unfortunately has the IQ of a 10-year-old. And I was like, did they write this character's name Alex Jones just to get that line out? Because you know who Alex Jones is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
He's like
Goblins.
the InfoWars
Sounds
guy.
got little goblins going on. That guy.
That's a pretty good impression, actually. Yeah,
Right.
wow.
Thank you. I've been working.
He has
on
the famous meme quote, the "I'm kind of retarded" quote that he
it.
says.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, he's
Damn,
like
guys, I
a
spend like no
conspiracy
time on
dude.
the internet.
Yeah.
He's like a conservative troll, if you will.
Yes. But
Gotcha.
I was just like, that's got to be too relevant or
On the
too.
nose.
Yeah, I was just like,
Mhm,
what?
mhm.
I don't know. I never caught it before, but it was great.
That's pretty good.
That's
yeah.
funny.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that. That's funny.
Right.
Me neither. Yeah. That's good.
Any other quotes for this one?
Pray for the best, prepare for the worst.
That's good. Yeah. Solid.
Straight up.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll go with that one. I didn't have any.
Yeah, I'll go with that
I'm
one
gonna
too.
steal that one.
Yeah.
I'm gonna copy off you.
You
Okay.
can't steal it. You can borrow it though if you'd like.
Alright, yeah. Lend it to me with interest. Cool.
You guys should like take that quote and really like think about it now that you've taken it. Right? What is
Yeah.
it? Pray for the best, prepare for the worst. Right?
Prepare
Like
for the worst.
Yeah, pray for the
prepare
best,
for
pray for the
the-
worst.
okay, never mind. But all right, best performance.
Preppers? Was that what you're getting at?
I put
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know his name. I put the other dude who got abducted, like the dude in like Late Night with the Devil, and like
Yeah, he's
Hooked
always
and
solid.
shit.
Yeah.
Yes.
I put him. I don't know,
David
like everybody's
Dismulchin.
pretty good,
Weirdo.
but
Yeah,
like I
yeah.
don't know. I just feel like everybody's about on the same level. I felt like that
Mhm.
dude was like just doing crazy shit the whole time. So I'm like, and he was doing a good
He was
job. He
That's
was
what he was
selling
good
me
at.
on it. So like,
Big
Yeah.
suitcase, man.
I don't know.
Play to your strengths.
I like
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jake Gyllenhaal a lot in this.
me
yeah, he was
too.
good.
He's my
Same.
favorite.
Yeah. So
Dude,
as much as I think Hugh Jackman's like hitting the perfect note in this movie that's
Hmm.
necessary, Jake Gyllenhaal just steals the movie.
A little
Like
bit.
you,
when he's
yeah,
driving to the hospital, I'm just like, holy shit, dude, this guy,
Yeah.
they're gonna die. Like,
yeah,
Yeah,
See, he
crazy.
gives the character so much life too by giving him little like quirks, and you just know
Hmm.
Jake Gyllenhaal was just in his hotel room one night. And he's like, I think I'm gonna give him like a tick or something, you know?
Yeah,
yeah, the
I gotta
bleep.
make him a little weird. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's great. Yeah.
Uh,
Like you want to Hugh Jackman scenes, like you want to watch them with the great
Hmm.
performance, especially like in the car with
True.
Gyllenhaal. But it's
Yeah.
mostly for
Yeah.
the plot that you want to watch them. With
Mhm.
Hmm.
Gyllenhaal scenes, you want to watch them for the performance. I feel like
Definitely.
yeah. So
Yeah.
I feel like I gotta give it to him too.
Fuck
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll
I
see
love
that one.
Jake Gyllenhaal. You know, the other two buddies I talk to, they think he plays the same role in every movie and just hate on him. But like,
Really?
I
I think it's
love
pretty
Jake
versatile.
Gyllenhaal. I think he's solid
I
Yeah,
don't
Me too.
know.
always.
Me too.
I guess like some
He's
roles, yeah, but I feel like he definitely has range or can do other shit. I don't
yeah. I
he
know.
feel that.
can.
Yeah, for
You can branch
sure.
out a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Bro, he's
I
the
mean,
Prince of Persia. Come
Prince of
on.
Persia, he did fucking Roadhouse, dude. If that's
Right,
not
that's what I'm
range,
saying.
I
Yeah.
don't know what
Ambulance,
is.
come on.
That's true. In Donnie Darko,
Ambulance.
kind of
He's
close
Have
to
you
Donnie
guys
fifth.
seen
fucking
Ambulance?
Darko. No, I haven't.
True.
Talk about a performance by Jake Gyllenhaal. That dude
Yeah.
Yeah.
was in the hotel room for too long, just like cooking up ideas for this character that he was gonna play in a
Fucking
fucking Michael Bay movie.
Okay, I gotta
He's
get
like,
around to that
I'm
one
gonna go
intense,
soon.
bro.
balls to the wall
Wait,
Yeah,
what
on this
Yeah.
movie?
Michael Bay movie.
it
Yeah,
sounds
it's
fun.
so funny. It's
Ambulance,
good.
like the heist movie that's in LA and they
Oh,
steal the ambulance.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta
Yeah,
get to that one soon. I think.
I
I'm
Okay.
was
curious now.
pleasantly surprised by that one. I will
Yeah,
it
say.
was fun. It was fun
Yeah,
for a
vintage
yeah,
Michael
Michael
Bay
Bay.
movie.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh
I
All
shit.
realize
right.
I'm pronouncing it ambulance too, like phonetically
Ambulance.
because it's the Anyway, yeah.
Is that okay? Best
LA.
scene. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. Best scene for me in Prisoners, um, is Hugh Jackman in the car with Gyllenhaal after he figures out that he's following him. I feel like that's where the character motivations are really coming to like its head.
Yeah.
Like they're really conflicting, and it's just nice.
See, I
Yeah.
like that one, but I think I like the end sequence where Gyllenhaal's driving the girl to the hospital. Like
Mm,
that sequence, you're just your heart's racing and you're like,
yeah,
is he gonna
Yeah.
make it? You know?
I think I'm gonna say that too, because that was just
Yeah.
like intense. I actually thought like he was gonna crash and die or something, or
Yeah.
just like pass
Yeah.
out and fucking die or something like that, or
yeah.
she was gonna like die in the back seat or something like that.
He's like
Because
telling
dude, like
her
he
to
got
stay
shot in
awake.
the fucking head, and I'm like,
Yeah.
is he like good? Like I
Yeah.
don't know.
And like
Yeah,
the whole time Hugh Jackman's just like chilling underground and like you're just
Yeah.
kinda like, no, he's still there.
yeah,
You
Right.
know?
Well,
So it's
yeah.
just
The lights coming into the car too make that scene really
yeah.
special. I feel like the
Yeah.
passing lights and the cop lights.
Yeah. Cinematography in that scene is phenomenal.
Hmm. I would also say the hammer on the sink scene.
Mm,
That's good.
solid
It's
score.
definitely one of the peaks of the movie. No matter
Yeah.
like if it might not be the biggest peak, but
Yeah,
it's
it
there.
made me want to break a sink like that.
Exactly.
You're like, grab a hammer, go stand in your bathroom. Can I do
That's
it?
got to be fun.
Really think about it.
One swing? Can I do it?
Not as strong as you.
Joe, we gotta hook you up with one of those rage rooms, man.
Mm,
We'll get you
break
there.
shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, favorite proper set. Speaking of breaking shit with the sink, what did you guys have for this category?
Ooh,
The whistle.
yeah.
Nice. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Most important one, I feel like. Yeah.
Can I steal Jake Gyllenhaal's haircut? I'll take that. Fucking sick.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Give me a torture room
Oh my god, what the
That's
fuck?
crazy.
Damn.
Yeah.
with the sink included though.
Right.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I got you.
Gotta have it. Yeah.
Secret
Wow,
underground
Joe's like, can I
cave.
break a sink? Give me the whole room. I'll find out.
Yeah, right.
Does Paul Dano come with it?
Why not?
I think for a set, I feel like the neighborhood was the most
Mm,
important one to me, especially the walk
Yeah.
from the houses at the beginning kind of sets
yeah.
the smallness of it and the
Yeah,
closeness.
I looked. This was from when I looked up because I totally didn't catch this from the movie. But the house that like the RV is sitting outside of apparently is supposed to be like Baldino's original like family's house.
Oh,
I think. I don't
That's kind
know.
of crazy.
And that's why he's
So
there.
like
Family
that's
film.
just like from notes that I was basically reading after I watched this.
I see.
That I didn't
Interesting.
pick that up from the movie.
Hmm.
But I think it
That's
was
cool,
just
though.
like
Yeah,
implied anyway. I don't think
Yeah.
like I don't know.
I mean, if they'd been kidnapping kids for whatever it was, decades or whatever, yeah, makes
Yeah.
sense.
They're lurking
Yeah.
around.
Yeah,
But I'd say my favorite prop was the locked container of snakes that
Yeah.
Gyllenhaal opens at some
all
point in the
right,
movie.
all right.
I
Fuck
hadn't
yeah.
seen something exactly like that in a movie, so yeah, nice.
Huh.
That's
So
crazy.
like maybe you guys can answer this because like I guess now that we brought that up, I'm kind of confused about that because like didn't he get clothes from that like the parents positively ID'd as the kids?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
How did they
I
get
think I
there?
remember
Because like he
that
wasn't
same question when I first
like
watched
really
it.
involved.
Yeah,
It's a great question. Honestly, the
yeah,
locked container of snakes, I don't really know how that plays into the case at all.
I don't think it does. I think that
You're
guy was
right.
just batshit. So
Well, like,
Well,
but
they
then
do
what about the
say,
clothes? Was that just like they didn't know
How did
and they
he?
just said
And
that
they
they
just
were the
thought it
kids
was
and
the
they
son.
weren't actually the kids' clothes?
oh, that's right. Because he like bought child's clothes or whatever, right? Gyllenhaal's
Mhm.
like, but you bought kids' clothes, and then he busts in.
Oh, I don't.
So maybe he like
Maybe
knew
I don't
about it
know.
and bought their clothes. Yeah, I don't
Reopen
know.
the case. I'm not
I
convinced
just
that this
remember like
was.
when they're
Yeah.
like interrogating him, like before he pops off and fucking commits suicide. I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure like they brought in like Hugh Jackman or the mom or something. I just remember he said
Mhm.
like, how do they positively ID these clothes if he's not the killer or whatever, or the kids weren't found there or whatever?
Mhm.
Because like I
Well,
remember it was like right after they dug up the mannequins in his yard, which like apparently the mannequins relative to the house are the same spot that like at the other house like the people fucking
well,
hiding
wasn't
under
he just
like they're
like
hiding them
Yeah.
underground.
copycat? So didn't he like
yeah,
take their clothes out of their house? Like, didn't he do like a little raid?
Oh, was that
yeah.
because
The
like the window
window.
was open at one
Maybe.
point?
Dude,
Was that
okay.
like him then?
That's what I thought. I thought it was
You guys are
the
piecing this
window
all
Okay.
open
together
out.
for me
I
because I
don't
had
know.
no idea what that guy's
Yeah.
deal was.
I get it now.
I
That's
just
cool.
knew he
Yeah.
got like his whole thing was that he got like kidnapped when he was a kid, and he also
Right.
couldn't like he was also basically a kid because he could never grow
Right.
past that. In the same
Right.
way that like Paul Dano's character
Right.
was
He's
basically
Right.
a kid too.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
so
And they
like I
said they
think
like
that's
found
his like
snakes.
only connection to the kids, like why he went to like the
Yeah.
night vigil thing with the candles and was touching the bear because he's like I don't know he's like
I'm one of you. And
yeah
Yeah, something like that.
Fucking prisoners, man.
Yeah.
Am I right?
everybody's a
Damn.
prisoner.
Right. Fucking, we're all
Fucking
crazy.
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 All right, double feature. I think.
Literally and figuratively.
Right? I think we all have the same one then, right?
What?
Double
For what?
feature.
Yeah.
Zodiac.
Oh, Zodiac.
Oh, I put Zodiac, Seven, True Detective, Long Legs.
You just want
Yeah,
to
those are
go
all
full
good.
into the
They're
darkness.
all
That's a
basically
full day.
they're all similar.
Yeah,
Maybe not Seven, but like
definitely.
Seven for the religious shit.
Yeah.
That's true.
Mm.
I feel like Zodiac for the Gyllenhaal.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Also
Yeah. Crime.
get to see him as like kind of like a Weasley, like dude who's like can't like deal with the cops, and then you get to see him be
Yeah.
the fucking cop. So
Yeah. See
That's
him
a
become
cool
the
arc, dude.
badass.
all right,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
all
pretty
right.
dope.
Who
Yeah, I
would
think
you
I'm
guys
gonna rewatch Zodiac.
recast? There you go.
I
Any
put
recasts?
I put Terrence Howard.
I could do
Nah,
that.
that's
Just because he's
justifiable.
crazy or what?
He fucking sucks, dude. He's just such a shitty actor.
He plays
Dude,
like
like
this
some
role
Snow Dog.
well,
Come on,
I'd
bro.
say. That's not Terrence Howard, dude. That's
Oh, is
Cuba
that not
Gooding
Terrence
Jr.
Hill?
That's
Oh,
who I thought
It
it was
just
at
come
because I
on.
could never
You
get
remember
the guy's
Snow
fucking name
Dogs?
right.
don't cancel me, please.
But dude,
Ah,
I know it was like written like that, but like he's like holding that trumpet for like 5 minutes, and I'm just like, is he even gonna play this? And then I'm just like, dude, they're just holding off because he doesn't actually know how to play fucking trumpet. And then
Oh, yeah.
that is how the fucking scene ends,
yeah.
which I guess is
Yeah.
like kind of funny because like they
When he's
probably
like brought to the stash house or whatever for the dude, and he's just like, "We shouldn't be doing this, man. This ain't right." I was like, you know what? I think Terrence Howard is the right guy for this role, like, in a way. Like, but no, I had him too
Maybe.
as an option, but I thought maybe Maria Bello plays the main mother.
Is it the mom? I was also
Mhm.
that was my second. That's who I was actually thinking before I remembered the
I didn't
Terrence
mind
Howard
her.
was in this movie.
She's good in it. I just think like there are opportunities to find some like bigger moments in the performance, but
Yeah.
Gotcha.
I
Yeah.
just
I can
hated
see
the
that.
mom.
Wow. I mean, there's a lot of
Well, Hugh
wailing
Jackman's wife.
in
I
that
should say.
character, just like crying in bed and stuff. And it's like, yeah, I don't want to listen to that. So good job, I guess.
Yeah, you're doing it
Yeah.
for sure.
It's striking the right nerve in my like human fucking brain. Nitpicks.
Maybe
I
that
put.
whole snake
Oh, sorry.
stuff because that shit was just not connecting in my brain for some
But it was
reason.
cool, man. It was fucking sick.
But it was
Yeah, dude,
cool. I was
it
like,
was
God damn, this
cool.
guy's messed up.
Yeah.
It was fucking
He's a
creepy.
container.
I
Who
put
does that?
they make like some of the some of the shots are like really zoomed in, specifically like when somebody's in a car in the front seat. Um, like for instance, like when Paul Dano's leaving his house and he's walking the dog, and Hugh Jackman like scrunches down in the front. And then it like goes from his perspective facing the house, and I'm just like, dude, if I'm walking from this house, I can see this car. He's parked at the end of the fucking driveway. Like,
Right.
why? Like, so that's why I'm like, did he do the dog shit because he like knows that he's like sitting at the end of the driveway? Because like, dude, he had to fucking see him, right? Like, it's not like conspicuous, or like he is fucking conspicuous. Is what I mean. Like, he's
Right.
not hidden.
Yeah.
Like,
Is he playing it that
but he's
way?
acting
Yeah.
hidden by his like he's like fucking scrunching down in the seat. But like, why the
10-year-old
fuck? Like,
kid, Joe. 10-year-old
I
kid.
guess like I don't know. It was just fucking. That happened like a couple times because it happens with Jake Gyllenhaal one time too. When he's just like parked on the street, like outside the dude's fucking house, and like I don't know. And then he
Detectives,
just like
bro.
scrunches back.
Yeah, if you're not looking directly at it, they can't investigate shit, man.
These
I
cops,
don't know.
man.
Maybe that's like a dumb
Yeah.
nitpick, but
These
it's just
fucking
Yeah,
like,
man.
dude, they're parked right out in the fucking open. You
Yeah.
can't like.
Maybe it's just
If
like
the
how
shot
it
was
needed
from
to
the
be
other
framed.
perspective, like it would have been like totally noticeable. It was just
Right.
like how it was shot. Like,
All right. Yeah, I get that. My nitpick is you wouldn't search under the car. You know, like you're digging
Yeah,
a fucking
could've moved it.
hole right next to the car, and it's like, why don't you like
Yeah.
look around the
Yeah.
fucking facility a little bit?
Yeah.
That's a good point.
I don't know, dude.
I had a nitpick with that scene where she's like walking him out of her house, and she's like inches behind him with the gun. I get that he's like drugged and handcuffed, but it's like I don't know, dude.
This
Hugh
old
Jackman's, like,
woman.
yeah,
Yeah, I could
6'2"
take her.
against
Yeah.
this old woman. Like,
Mhm.
turn
I
on her, man.
I will say
Yeah.
like the way that they frame her with the gun though is like she could pull the trigger at any second. Like especially when
Yeah.
she's like pushing the car back, the gun's like directly to his head, and it's like, oh man, like I would probably do what she says right now. But
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get what you
It's like
mean.
he's
Final
come this
opening.
far. Why chance it? You know.
Yeah.
Right.
All right. All right.
Just
I
get
don't
in the
know. I was just
hole.
like, let that anger we saw come out, dog. Like,
Right.
you
You've
know
seen
this
what you
chick
can do
has
with
your
a hammer,
daughter.
dude. Like let's fucking
Yeah,
go.
exactly.
Yeah.
Dude, when they're in the hospital talking about the whistle, I'm just like, wow, I don't remember that at all. Was I supposed to remember that? And then it came up like 2 seconds later.
Right. Yeah.
I kind of needed that because, like, otherwise I never would have fucking remembered that whistle.
I feel that.
Or
Yeah,
otherwise, it like
Or-
wasn't even in there. I don't really
Mhm.
know.
They didn't really
Yeah.
thread it too much.
Yeah.
Kind
all
of
right.
crammed it in at the end. Clever girl. Any notes for what this movie did right? Like what you said, I have two, but one, what you said, Alex, with Jake Gyllenhaal's intense blinking for his character. It's such a specific choice, but such a
Yeah.
perfect decision for that character. Like I've only known like a couple people who have that tick, but it just instantly makes that character a real person in a way. Even though it's like so rare, it's like real. It's really, really cool.
Definitely. All those decisions he made in this character was like it felt like he was the one to decide this, and he just brought it to Denny, and Denny was like, "Good, brother,
Keep
you
doing it.
got it."
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let it roll.
Looks good on camera. Yeah.
it definitely worked. He gave so much. I don't know. He was definitely the life of the movie in terms of like I don't know if there's any brightness in it, but like he was the life of it, and his
The
character
hope,
brought a
yeah.
lot of like
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It was really good stuff.
Yeah.
You guys have any for this category?
I did not know. That's a good one. I do like that. Maybe
Yeah,
I should
that's
use
clever
that. I'm
joke.
gonna
Yeah.
borrow that really
Yeah,
quick, Matt.
for sure.
Feel free,
Everybody's
man.
borrowing shit.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
I had one more, which is the flashback or reveal of where the kids are and what happened to them. It only happens once the first girl who escapes wakes up in the hospital, and that's just like a really good technique of not letting the audience get ahead of its characters in a way. Like once
Yeah.
we're with that character is when we get to understand what they know, like,
Yeah,
and we don't get to like see outside the story until that moment, and that's just like well timed.
yeah, agreed.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. When she's like in the hospital and she's like, "You were there." I don't know. I got chills. I'm like, "Oh
yeah.
fuck!
Right.
It was the fucking Ant Mom."
Oh no. All right. Could a TikToker watch this slash could an iPad kid watch this? We'll just test it out. We're just testing it out.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
put
Test out
no.
the waters.
I give it a
Yeah, I'm gonna go
3 out of
no on
10.
What?
this.
I had this one as like it's a 7 out of 10 TikToks.
Okay, I was gonna say
Really?
it's like
No?
5 to 6.
Defend yourself.
I think
Pry
like
your eyes away from the iPad.
yeah, I think there's like a monster Dahmer line that it's kind of treading here.
Ah,
True crime of
yeah.
it all.
Yeah,
It's like
okay, yeah.
I think there's TikTokers who could be like invested in that, but
Yeah,
maybe
For
not
sure. I
7.
can see
Maybe
that.
I'll go with like 6.5.
This feels like true crime for sure. For sure.
some true crime.
Yeah.
That's
for
a
real,
solid
for real.
argument. I'll take it.
Bump
Yep.
it up a couple TikTokers.
I don't know.
Maybe.
I'm gonna keep mine.
Yeah.
I'd
What'd you
Honestly, I
say?
don't know, but it's a good
I'd say no.
argument.
I gave it 3.
What's a 3 out of 10 TikTokers? Well,
3 out of 10 TikTok. This metric is fucking hilarious.
3 out of 10 iPads.
right.
Yeah.
Sequel, prequel, or remake?
I put a prequel.
Uh,
When
a
she's doing
sequel,
shit with
just like a
the
short
dad.
film of if we can find Hugh Jackman underground, Just give me like 10
Oh.
minutes. Let me know. His
Yeah.
man's
Short.
dead.
Yeah.
Well, how
It's
long
like,
after
literally
is?
just somehow walks like 10 feet to the hole and finds him, and that's it.
Yeah, right. He's like, oh shit, he's alive.
Pushes the
Okay.
car. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, right.
there he is.
How long has it been though between when he's in the hole and when Gyllenhaal hears the whistle though?
That's what I'm saying. I don't know.
Yeah. He
'Cause-
bled out a ton.
When I first saw the movie, I thought it was like weeks. But rewatching it, I was like, has it been
I
only
think
like a
it's
day or 2?
Pretty close.
Like a couple days.
Yeah. I was
Few
like,
days.
so he's alive, right? I mean, he's fine. He's whistling.
I mean,
He's
yeah,
still
I
on
don't
there
know.
keeping
So
it
you
clean.
heard the whistle.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
he's totally
Yeah.
alive.
He's good.
I think it's just like
Yeah.
whether like he was gonna go find him, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, they leave it where it's like he's really questioning the sound, so it's like a somewhat happy ending, right? Where
Yeah.
Jackman's gonna get out of the hole.
Check
Dude,
my
sure,
check my
everything-
letterbox
sure.
review on this most recent one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's good. It's good.
Nice.
Trust, good.
Well, I say a sequel because, and I don't even really need Hugh Jackman in it. Just give me another Gyllenhaal case, and I'd watch it.
True.
Oh yeah, I'd be down for that.
True.
Yeah.
The only reason I put prequels just like so we could get like maybe not even necessarily the backstory with the people kidnapping Paul Dano and the other guy. Maybe they're like kind of involved in a little bit, but maybe they're just like catching other people and the dad goes to prison or something.
I could see that.
Well, I
Prisoners
don't know. The
too,
guy in
baby.
the priest basement. I don't. I keep calling him the dad,
Yeah.
but I don't know.
It is the
I
dad, right?
shouldn't-
Is that? No?
I mean,
The
he's
father.
like the aunt mom's partner. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Dude,
the father.
fucking Villeneuve, what is it with you and like this weird incest stuff? Like,
Well, she's pretty much
He's
the
French,
aunt.
man.
I don't know
said
why.
it from the beginning. These
That's
fucking
true.
French. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
all right, how many
Yeah.
stars for Prisoners, guys?
I gave it 4.
I'm still at a 4.5. Feeling pretty good about it still.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna bump it down to 4.5 for me. It was at 5 for a long time, but rewatchability the main deal. So
Yeah, I think I'm gonna bump it down to
Yeah.
4. I don't know. This is one I think maybe will just be up and down as I watch it. Like maybe one time it'll
Yeah.
hit, maybe one time it won't, and that's cool.
Yeah.
So
Definitely got to be in the mood.
yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I definitely put like Fincher-esque in my notes because, like, I
Oh, yeah.
mean, I could feel it. I could feel some Fincher, you know.
It's
Feel that.
so hard to make a crime movie nowadays, like a solid one, without thinking like what Fincher's done for the genre with Seven.
Yeah.
Yeah. Fuck,
That and
man.
Gone Girl, man. I rewatched Gone Girl
Yeah.
recently, and that movie just slaps.
It does slap some ass for sure.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that wraps up our Villeneuve talk. But I think we're gonna workshop draft
An
idea
idea.
now.
Yeah.
So, Alex, why don't you lay it out?
Yeah, I'll try to make it as confusing or sorry,
Yeah.
as
Yes, please.
non-confusing, unconfusing. I'll try to make
Yeah.
it as straightforward as possible. I'll just run through my thought process while I was kind of doing this. Um, so initially I'm like, well, how are we going to get points? I knew categories were going to be a factor. The big thing was going to be like, how do we get points? So I figured I'd go back to how I was rating like the directors on my big spreadsheet, which is just, we got box office and ratings and then awards. Those are like the three big categories I could think of that could be like judged just subjectively or
Mm-hmm.
objectively,
Yeah.
objectively. Um, you know, because how else can you rate these? I mean, you
Yeah.
can be like, oh, well, what about the performances by these actors? It got this many. It's just hard to judge because with fantasy football, or even when I played like fantasy league for Worlds, it's like CS is factors in like creep score factors into scoring, and first tower factors into scoring. So I just kind of had to break it down into like the simplest terms possible that movies can like
Mm-hmm.
gather.
I think that's
Yeah.
I mean,
cool. For
if
awards, are you gonna go just if they win awards? Would you
that's
go with nominations as
Noms.
well, or
yes, I have. So for awards was the category where it was going to get into the weeds, just because it is like there's like a bunch of different awards that movies can get. There's BAFTAs, there's the Globes. I don't think Emmys are part of movies. There's obviously the Academy, and there's just a bunch of little ones, little awards that get tossed around. So I just went with the Globes and the Academy. I figured those were the two big ones, and I figured I'd do noms as factoring into the score, and then wins is like a multiplier to that. That's like an additional, and that's pretty
Okay.
much how like all the scores go for like ratings and the box office. There's like the base score that you get, and then there's a multiplier after that, which I'll get into that
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
actually.
I guess I was thinking
So,
for awards too. If you wanted to have like those two main ones be like more points, and then if it wins
Mhm.
any other awards, it'll just be like a lower, like one point or a lower amount of
Yeah,
points too.
and that's when I was experimenting and like practicing with two extremes. So I picked Oppenheimer and Killers of the Flower Moon, two like big name directors who came out with movies in the same year. Obviously, two different extremes, box office wise, clearly, and even Oscar wise. Like, sure, Killers got a lot of noms, but it didn't win a single Oscar. And then Oppenheimer, of course, was the complete opposite of that. So I was
Yeah.
trying to do two different extremes to see if it breaks it. I was a little worried at first, but when you do the math, you can't like factor in the millions, or not the millions, the thousands categories. It's just straight up like the round number millions. So like with Oppenheimer, it was like 943 million. Just do the multiplication by that. Otherwise, you're getting some crazy numbers. Um, and that's kind of like with the awards. We can do other awards. It just might get harder
yeah.
to do because what I
Oh no, it was just a
Yeah.
suggestion. I mean, we don't have to. I don't know. I was just,
no,
Well,
I'm definitely wanting to find ways that we could like kind of, I don't know, get more points in these categories, because I mean the three
Right.
categories are nice. It would just be nicer to have like more stakes in it. I mean, it's pretty basic math
yeah.
Yeah.
math with the
I
other
mean,
categories,
do you think
but
you'd have to replace, like, if we did bonus awards, do you think you'd have to replace one of the other categories, or would you be able to factor
No,
that in?
I think you should be able to factor it in, right?
yeah,
Okay.
I
Yeah.
guess
Okay.
my question is like, should all these three categories have like the same, around the same point total that you're like able to get?
Right.
that's what I
Or are they
tried
weighted the
to
same? Yeah.
that's what I tried to do with at least the star ratings. So like IMDb is out of 10 stars. So for every star, I made it worth 2 points. But Letterbox is 5 stars, but it's half stars is basically 1 star on IMDb. So that's why I give
Yeah.
it 4 points per star on Letterbox, and IMDb is 2 points per star because it's half or whatever.
Mhm.
And then
Makes sense.
with Media Critic and Rotten Tomatoes, I just did out of 100. which
Mhm.
is because they're both out of 100. So I mean, I'll just get into how I was gonna score them. So the box office one is where it could get
That was the only one
outrageous,
that
and
confused
That's what
me a
I was
little bit.
concerned about too,
Yeah.
yeah,
because like it seems
so
like the critics are gonna go with the awards ones, but like if it's like an art film, like it might not make a lot of money, but it might win a lot
Yeah.
of
right.
awards and get high ratings.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That's why I don't know. Like I don't know if I can make it any less points besides because I have it at right now. Every 1 million is 0.2 points. So like when I did the math with obviously Oppenheimer, which was the big one, almost $1 billion, the box office
Yeah.
alone, just off of the 0.2 points without the bonus multiplier, is 195 points straight up. So
Damn.
I mean, it cuts it down because it's not 1 point per million. Instead, it's a fraction of a point, but still.
I would try to run this with different movies, not because I don't. I just think like Oppenheimer might be like an outlier, just because like
Right.
it also like had Barbie that like
Mhm. It
you
was like
know
one of the top grossing movies of the
Yeah.
boosted
year.
its
Yeah.
success.
And
But Killers of the
Yeah.
Flower
that's why I
Moon
did,
gets 31 points then.
yeah, 31 points just because it only made 158 million worldwide. So I'm going off of like the total grossing worldwide, and it gets bonuses. The bonus for this category is if it makes it back domestic, that's your bonus because you get a higher bonus for domestic because it's harder to make your money back and then some domestically rather than worldwide. It's easier to make your money back. So that's a little less of a bonus, but you can't pick both for the bonus. So domestic is the bonus or it's worldwide because if you don't make domestic, you have worldwide to rely on.
I
And
think we should
Killers
just
didn't make
choose
any
one,
money back.
honestly,
Yeah,
and just to simplify it for my brain. But
okay.
would you like we should just choose to decide if like we want to do domestic or worldwide, and then weight the points that way. But
That's how I have it.
Okay.
So like with Killers, since they didn't make any money back, domestic or worldwide, it doesn't get any multiplier. But since Oppenheimer made its money back easily domestically, it gets the bonus multiplier, domestic bonus multiplier. It doesn't get the
it's,
worldwide multiplier, if that makes sense.
yeah, it does. It's just like, do I want to track all this shit? Is like my question, I guess. Like,
Well, my idea now, again, this is just me being a lunatic. I'm gonna make an Excel spreadsheet and try to like put these little formulas in so we can just pump these numbers into this.
hmm,
But also, I'm gonna I'm gonna work on it. Don't worry. All right,
oh
because
yeah,
I also don't want to. This took me forever to write all these numbers down, and forever I mean like
That.
maybe 45 minutes to just kind of
yeah,
do math and like flip back and forth of like how I'm weighting these.
hmm,
Yeah.
So and doing this for 10 different movies might be a bit taxing on
that is a bit.
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
brain,
Hmm.
but
I mean, I
Well,
like the
so
idea that if you don't
yeah,
have one domestically or worldwide, like you get the other. I think that's a good, like
yeah.
fair, you know?
I want to make this as simple as possible in terms of doing the math. That's why I'm going to try to
Yeah.
get these formulas into an Excel that we can all just use and like pump the numbers
right.
into certain
Yeah.
And
Okay.
so
things.
each movie that we pick is gonna be like we're gonna be able to get points in every category.
That's the idea. Maybe not
Uh,
awards for every one of them.
or
The
I mean,
awards is the only one that's going to be wishy-washy because I mean, there's no comedies that get
Yeah.
awards really,
Yeah.
and that's why it could be in our favor to add more awards to it, like Joe had mentioned, to maybe just get some I don't know multipliers in there or just some
mhm.
Well,
bones.
I mean, I think like the size of your roster matters too, right? Per person. Because if we only do a roster of like 8 films, and if I'm assuming we can't pick the same film as someone else, so you think
No,
that?
that's the thing. It would
Yeah.
be like a snake draft where once it's off the
Yeah.
board, it's off the board.
Mhm.
Right.
So
So
you want to like kind of strategize of what you think is going to be the biggest earn. This is like a
Well,
fantasy league draft.
do you
yeah,
think we should
yeah,
have like 3 movies for each of these or like not? I'm just saying like because I don't. I wonder if like we should have specified slots. Is what I'm trying to get at. Of like, I
like your
know I need to
TV
get
and your
three box
tight end.
office
Like,
ones, so I'm gonna
Hmm.
have to fill 3 box office slots. Or
Hmm.
yeah,
and but then like, do they get awards points too? Is the question I guess. Then like, you know,
yeah,
I'm just spitballing, so I really don't have an answer. You know.
Yeah, with that one, the way I thought about it was it's kind of like my only experience in a fantasy league is with League of Legends, and like I would bet on like my best mid laner to pick up some of the slack of the other ones. So like
yeah,
he would get a lot of points because he was always pretty consistent in terms of like getting first tower, getting constant CS, and not dying too much to like counteract his score. So he would outweigh some of my worst performers, and that's just kind of how I would view this. Would be like some awards or some movies aren't going to get awards, but that's why you
Right.
have to maybe pick one that's going to like be a huge award
Yeah.
contender. You know,
Yeah. I mean, the snake draft will definitely make that more viable for sure.
Mm.
Thinking
Because
like long
people
term,
get
like
some
what
heavy
this is
hitters
gonna be
early
like
round.
too. Because
what's
like
that?
I don't know, we're gonna like wait like all year basically to find
Yeah,
out if this
until the
system
next
would
Oscars.
work.
Yeah, right. That's
Yeah.
what we're gonna try to figure out. Also,
That's
though,
why
too,
I'm.
with awards, you have to wait till into the next year
That's
too,
true.
Yeah,
like a few
Yeah.
months, which kind of sucks. But
Mm.
I understand.
I mean, we
So
could
like
Around
find
it.
a.
basically
I
the
can try to think of a
goal.
simpler version to play throughout the year too, of like maybe I don't know, like mini games that we can like kind of keep. That way, this doesn't just fall to the wayside. I don't know.
Well, I guess
Yeah.
like, what did you guys think of the way? I'm like, it might not be a better way, but like, if you have the 10 categories of choices, it's like we have to
Hmm.
draft each one in a slot for those choices, like comedy, wild card, or whatever,
Yeah.
and then you like judge it in its own way for the slot. Like, I don't know, is that a better way than just doing everything as its own? Like, I guess probably
What
not,
do you mean?
honestly.
That'd be tough,
Yeah.
I think,
Because like,
because
what am I gonna do with the comedy
right.
slot then?
You're gonna hope that you get some box office numbers and you
Right.
get good critic ratings and audience
Yeah.
ratings.
But I still
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
fill that slot.
Yeah, I would say so.
That's
I
why I
mean,
was
my
thinking.
my thought was like each one of us is gonna have 10, no matter what. You have to fill it.
Okay. Yeah.
I
Okay.
guess it really
And
then
basically
the
we're
only
just
thing that I
trying to
worry
have the
about
most points. That's
most
the goal.
points. The only thing I really
Yeah.
worry about then is like certain the weighting of the points really then like because
Right,
what
and
should I
that's
be
what I wanted to.
focusing on is the real question, you know?
And that's
Yeah.
what I wanted to ask you guys. I mean, my, with that in mind, I'd just be like trying to draft a well-rounded team. Like you're gonna have to pick one that's gonna do great at the box office, one that's gonna do great at awards, and one that audiences are gonna love. Critics might not love it, audience are gonna love it, and then you're gonna have to find one that's just super well-rounded in all those categories. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
like I would say Killers is a good example of a well-rounded movie. It just didn't perform in the box office, but it performed good with like even though it didn't win any awards, the nominations gave it alone. I believe it gave it like 170 points just off nominations. So like,
I don't
I don't know.
actually. I mean, I think this is a pretty good system from what I can tell. Like, it makes sense in my mind.
Yeah.
The math obviously is gonna. I mean, thank God for spreadsheets,
Well,
but
that's what I was gonna ask you too, guys. I mean, I just pick numbers. So like we can do
Right.
higher weighted numbers too, or lower even if you wanted to. So we're not getting movies with like thousands of points. So I don't know.
yeah, yeah. I mean, what do you think? What do you think about that,
Well,
or all of y'all?
like the way I have it laid out, obviously I just told you how the box office works. The bonus multiplier
Yeah,
is if it makes it back domestic, it's 2 points per million over multiplied, and
yeah.
then
I'm just
worldwide is
thinking,
1.5
like, if
mil over.
Oppenheimer is this outlier, you're probably not gonna have too many movies that get over 1,500 points. You know what I mean? You're probably gonna have like
Right.
maybe one or two.
Again, this is a phenomenon. Look at last year. What was the highest grossing movie? Did it even make close to a billion? Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know.
But, I mean, Deadpool, Wolverine, and Inside Out 2 were like the closest to a billion domestic or worldwide, right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no one's gonna end up with both of those on their roster, ideally.
Well, they might, I mean,
I mean,
Deadpool, Wolverine could be under comedy and then get Inside Out under animated. But then again,
yeah.
it is a snake draft, so some of those could get taken. And that's the
Right,
whole idea,
right.
I guess.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, there's a lot of animated shit in here.
Yeah.
I
What
mean,
Um,
I like
dude.
I like
Also, was reading this article. This is kind of like not really related, but I saw 3 is Moana 2.
Mhm.
I guess like Disney's getting sued by some dude because he's saying like Moana, like the whole
yeah.
story in general of Moana and Moana 2 have like ripped him off of something he was gonna make in like I don't know, like 2010 or some shit like that. I think.
oh
I
shit.
saw it's
I
like
am
10
so
billion
sick
Some
of these
dollars or
IP.
something like
lawsuits
that.
of like petty bullshit.
I
Like,
know,
now they're suing Ryan Reynolds for making fun of somebody. It's like, "Oh, we can't do
dude.
comedy now? Are you
Right?
fucking joking me?"
Yeah.
I
Sorry.
have actually read
Uh,
about that because I think it deals with his wife with that
Yeah,
fucking shitty movie. It ends with us. Which,
yeah.
like, I just want to point out, like, I feel like there's just been like so much drama that I've just like read about that I haven't even seen the movie because I heard it's fucking bad. But also, it's based on a book
Yeah.
that's like about highlighting sexual abusers and shit, and they turned the movie into a rom com. And I'm just
mm,
like, what the fuck? Like,
And
what are
now
we
they're
doing
suing
here?
about
Like,
sexual abuse, so it's
yeah,
just the
like,
full
what the fuck?
mm.
It's a joke. Like, I
package.
don't know.
Mhm.
But yeah, I also saw one about like M. Night's getting sued for some fucking Apple TV show or some shit too.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's just like a lot of them going around, I guess.
Crazy.
Crazy,
But
Damn.
anyway,
man.
sorry, we can get back to the stuff. I was just, I don't
Yeah.
know. I just thought that was interesting.
God,
And
you
yeah, I
can't
will
make
say
art anymore.
there are a lot of animated ones. So I guess like if we're worried about the categories, I mean, I don't know. Some categories are probably just going to make more money than others, but like
Yeah,
I think we just have to do our research onto like,
right.
like who's going to be hot this year, what movies are going to like probably make money, which I guess is like what
Mhm.
we always do
100%.
with our summer box office thing. But it's like,
Right.
Yeah.
I don't know.
At
It's
the end of the
definitely a bit more
day,
intensive because you're gonna have to figure like, "Oh, I want this movie because it's my heart," you know?
you're
But at the
right.
same time, is it gonna make me any points, and is it
Yeah.
worth putting on my roster? And do I
Yeah.
wanna steal it from someone else who it might be the heart of, you know? I don't know.
Mhm.
That's the whole point of fantasy leagues in my mind. Is like if you end up
Yeah,
with a shitty team, it's because your picks. You know what I mean?
right.
Like
Didn't plan it right.
it's not
I guess
wholly
like
down to the scoring. I
is
would say.
awards right now how it's weighted just like the most important category though? Like it seems like.
See, that's how I have it weighted, so, like, that's why with indie movies could like, for example, I don't think Anora made a huge amount of money at the box office. So in the category that it would lead in would be awards. So that's why I figured like to make up the slack of
I
maybe
see.
box office slacking,
Okay.
some of these like limited releases that we would have to pick or an indie movie that we would have to pick might get more points in the awards categories. That's
I
why I have
see.
awards being like 10 points per and then an extra I have for points in that.
Okay. I mean, I think
Yeah,
it's
10 points per
pretty.
and 20 per win. I
I
don't
think
know.
it's pretty good. I'm just worried that like one movie in the awards season is gonna like destroy
Rush.
everyone's shit just
Yeah.
because it like is nominated in every category and wins a bunch of like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if
But I think
it's
that's why
too much, it's too much. But
yeah. I guess like that's why well, that's where like the nominations and just the other random awards
Yeah.
could help, but also
Yeah.
they could make that effect even worse.
It
Because
it could.
like
Yeah.
I mean if somebody's winning all of the awards, like they could win all the awards in like the fucking smaller one-off award ceremonies and shit too. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think if you just value the award noms and wins lower though too, it could maybe help in general.
Yeah, I mean, I could always half it too. I mean, it could be 5 points per nom and 10 points per win, or
And
Right.
that's
even
Yeah,
lower than that.
like
right.
honestly though, if it's like a situation with Oppenheimer or something, or where there's one movie that's like winning a shit ton of awards, that's just kind of a toss up because that could
Yeah.
Right.
happen. And like I don't know, I mean that's not really under our control. I don't think like we could set up a system that's gonna account for
No,
that. You know what I
I'm just
mean?
saying like
Right.
Yeah.
if you pick the Brutalist this year, like it didn't make much money, so maybe it would balance out in a way, but it's gonna
Well,
probably
like
win.
when is the cutoff? Because like it might make more money because it's getting
Right.
shown everywhere
When it
Right.
opens
now.
It'll yeah.
wide, right.
I would say probably up to if we do this, it'd probably have to be up to like the Oscars then, right? The
Yeah,
Oscars is
it'd
where we
be
decide the winner or something. But
I
Mm.
would say, yeah, Oscar night after awards are all said and done for Oscars, that would be like the end of the league.
mhm.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say start in February,
Draft in
which
like
kinda sucks
January,
because there's a
February.
fuckload of movies that get dumped in January. Not all of them are, like, bangers, at least I have the list. I can't I realized I
I
highlighted the
guess
ones I'm
that's
going to
true
pick,
because
but
we're gonna have to have 40 movies total.
right,
Yeah.
and there's a lot, but
And I mean,
January
I only
is
saw 35
Dumptuary.
last year. So like I guess it's just like that's
That's
actually kind
true.
of a
Think
lot
about
of
the
shit.
business more. I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm
Um,
gonna.
Huh.
Yeah.
and then also, I guess the question is, because I've been doing more research now on like potential movies that might come out 2025 that are on like no radars and whatnot. And I'm just like looking at stuff that's in production and kind of like post production stuff. I was like, that movie might come out and it might become like an awards thing that we never knew about,
Yeah.
and like it requires a lot of
Yeah.
research, but also like if I pick a movie that is in 2024 and then turns out they bump it to next year in the summer, do I get a
Yeah.
repick or is
That's
that like
I was gonna ask you
Bench.
guys that if we wanna have, like, 3 or 4 movies that are just sitting on the bench just in case one doesn't get released or something happens that it doesn't work, it doesn't happen. Can
Cool
we
with that,
replace
but we
that?
would have to just
I think we
like
should have
all
something like
agree on
that.
them.
Or it's
Because
like
like
you
I mean,
draft your own, right? Like it's like you pick like your bench
Pick your
slots
10
too or something, as
and
like
I
then
mean,
pick 3
uh,
backups. Yeah.
that's how it was with the fantasy league for
right,
League of Legends was I had 1 bench player just in case someone
injuries or yeah, right. Like
yeah.
I think
Right.
that's a good. Is it for every
Yeah.
category though?
well that's
I would
yeah.
Mm,
just a well-rounded movie, I would say, like, one that could fit in at any category.
Because like
yeah.
that could all around. I think it's a good idea. Because like even if you're number 4, you've got the worst movie probably
Mhm.
prospectively, and then it ends up coming out like next year. You're
Yeah,
probably gonna have a worse movie. Like that's number 5 basically out of
yeah,
like the 4 top that we considered.
Mhm.
But if it's like what's probably going to make the most money and then that gets pushed to the next year, then like that's basically like um changing up the rankings probably.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Hmm.
So all around I kind of like the idea. I feel like it works. So
Having a
And also
bench players.
totally, yeah.
yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
But
Because
Yeah.
also, if you're
I don't
worried
know.
about a movie, because if you're like doing research and you're like, I don't know, man, that one seems like it might get pushed.
yeah,
Like
Hmm.
you might want to draft a movie in that slot, that as a backup too, to like
right.
have it ready to go. Just like it's like because I was thinking like, would I ever want a comedy in the backup? Maybe not. Like
In our
Right.
what kind of movie would I want, or
Yeah.
what slot do
Are
I
we
need it
gonna
for?
all draft our separate backups? Because
That's
I
what I
mean,
thought,
like,
right?
let's
Yeah,
just
I think.
say, let's just. That's just like a shit ton of movies. Because we're gonna have to have double of each category. Um,
Well, I
Well,
would think
no,
our bench should be like 3 or 4 maybe.
right?
well, like
Yeah,
Yeah.
realistically, if we have 10 categories and like
Mhm.
there are 4 of us, so we're each gonna have one in each category. That's 40 movies. If we
Yeah,
each have to have one in each category, that's our backup,
well, not in
and
each
they
category
all.
though. Is what I think is like
Like,
we should have 4 to maybe 5 movies or whatever the number is, but it's just like bench slots and they're not
yeah.
they could
designated to a
fill.
category.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
But
It's
like,
just in case one of yours gets fucked, and then
okay,
you
cool.
have to have something
I'm
to
cool
fill
with
it.
that.
Yeah,
And then
it
I would
may not fill
assume
that
that's
category
probably going to be
specifically, but it
like,
would get you points.
and that's going to be probably like after we're done drafting our regular movies, we'll just
right,
pick what's left
Yeah,
over.
yeah.
Yeah.
yes, just in
Okay.
case. I
And
like
just make
that.
sure when you're, like, coming up with a list of what you want your draft to be to have a couple backups just in case someone takes your first pick, you know?
That's gonna happen, I assume. Yeah, I'm gonna
Are
have to
you
think
gonna
about
Yeah.
make
it.
a list of the movies or like
I
in the
I have the
categories?
list.
I can make one
I'm gonna
too.
break
I
them
can
up into
help out.
categories yet, but I forgot I made this on a Google spreadsheet, and I was highlighting the movies I want, so I gotta unhighlight those before I share it to you guys. But I have
Yeah,
the ones coming out, I have them separated monthly and limited and wide release. Um, so
but those could
uh,
also change.
yeah, and that's the thing. So like I'm gonna keep like try to keep up to date with it and like see until we draft, which I'm assuming after the Oscars is when we'll draft this
Yeah, that's
year.
cool. I
Is
think we
when the
should
league will
also nail
start.
down the categories that we are drafting in,
Hmm.
just to really hone if we need some or can shed some and stuff like that. Because I got to look through them again. But if there is a limited release one, maybe we should just like not have a category like that, just because it's so
But
fluid. Of like, what is it a limited release? When is it a limited release? What qualifies? When like, will we ever know about
yeah,
some of these movies?
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But
I
Oh man, I don't know.
honestly there's one limited release that I picked because it's the only one I could think like, oh,
yeah,
I see it. But the problem is that also is like my only indie pick. You know, it's an
right.
indie film company, so it
Some
just
that's
makes
what I'm
it
saying.
tough.
Like some things can maybe just be like rolled together in a
Yeah,
category, and maybe we could do like 8 categories or whatever it turns out to be,
yeah,
or new
yeah. No, that's
categories.
fine. That works too. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm still
Well, I
workshopping
mean,
all this stuff. This
Right.
is
We'll
there's a
chisel that.
wild card or two category. There's your bench. There's a couple bench slots right there.
That's true. I do
You
like the
know,
wild card pick just to have one as like
yeah,
a
could
whatever
yeah.
be
pick you
whatever.
kind of want.
hmm
And I like
So
the
it could be a
colon
limited
pick.
release. Could be the
Yeah,
what? Oh, the
There's
the
so
colon.
many
colon
movies
one.
coming out with a fucking colon in them.
Yeah, we could think of like some other fun creative
Yeah,
categories if we want to add other ones too.
yeah.
It's like there's a movie coming out this year that's just colon, but
Well,
it's like you call it
Does it
colon, but
qualify?
it's literally just the colon.
Just
Oh,
colon.
okay, so it qualifies. Yeah.
well, you see, like Mission Impossible coming out could fit into like every fucking category because it's got a
Right.
colon in it. It's a sequel. It's a franchise. It's a fucking action. I would say it's a
Yeah,
thriller.
Mhm.
I
yeah.
mean,
That's why I think you could
it's a
get
colon.
some steals as far as like value goes if you
Exactly.
slot them correctly. Like
I
Right.
mean, shit, Avatar, Fire and Ash, colon. You could just slap that in a colon category and like,
you
It's
got
gonna
big money.
pop off
I
Hopefully,
feel
box
like
yeah.
this is
office.
like
yeah,
so
Yeah.
much more serious than just the summer box office. I'm
oh
just
yeah,
gonna like be like, all right, do I have this movie? Who else has this
right,
movie? Am I gonna go
exactly.
see this?
Right.
Right.
Like we're
I'm not gonna
fucking fun
support
about it.
this. Yeah.
I'm giving it half star on Letterbox. I'm trying to drive the rating down as much as I can.
I
Yeah,
love that. I love
Yeah.
that.
so it could be fun.
I think it's gonna be cool. What about trades? Any trades possible or no? No
Ooh.
trades.
Ooh, I didn't even think about that.
Think about that. Yeah.
Just thinking about other stuff
Maybe
you
like
can do
one
in
or
the league.
two. You
That
get
would
like
be
one or two trade
interesting.
offers
Yeah,
Yeah.
because like,
or confirmed trades. I don't know. Yeah.
huh?
I like that. I like that idea.
Maybe like a cutoff of like 2 to 3 months. No, it'd probably be more than that. 3 months before the movie comes out, you can trade still or something. Like
But
I like
like,
that.
Yeah.
riddle me
That
this:
sounds good.
in what situation are you guys gonna trade a movie?
I
If
convince
someone takes
Alex
my
that
Mission
this.
Impossible, I'll trade
There you
Avatar for
go.
Mission Impossible all day long.
That's
Okay,
true.
I
You
don't
get
All
care.
better
right.
Mission
value of
Impossible
Well,
just
bangs.
yeah,
emotional
but then
picks.
from like the other
Yeah.
person's perspective, like, are they gonna want to trade
Yeah.
that? You know what I
Maybe.
mean?
I'd
I don't
trade
know.
for.
I guess
I'd
like,
trade Mission Impossible Avatar right now. I'll tell you that much.
Exactly. I know Matt would, and I'm pretty sure Noah would
I
too,
probably
because
would
they
too.
ride for Avatar.
yeah,
I don't ride for
Yeah.
Avatar, but it
but
makes
I ride
like,
for
fuckload of
Avatar,
money.
but Avatar's
So
gonna make more money too.
I guess
So.
if
That's
you
the
guys
thing. That's the
wanted those
thing.
movies
I like the Mission
originally,
Impossible, so
I
it'd be
feel
tough.
like you're probably just gonna pick them in the draft.
Unless I
it's what
steal them,
first.
Well, that's like
planning
the
for
steal,
Yeah, but
right?
like,
trade.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. You know
Well,
Yeah,
someone's gonna
imagine this,
take this.
Joe. Imagine
I don't
this.
fucking
Okay, it's a
know.
snake draft,
Look,
right?
if it's a situation,
Mission
even Noah
Impossible
goes
and
first,
Avatar go
doesn't pick Mission
untouched.
Impossible, then like Alex, you're next. Why are you
All
gonna
right.
pick Avatar over Mission Impossible, and then
For
Matt
the
picks
money,
Mission
baby.
Impossible?
So this
For
is
the
the
money.
beauty of the league, Joe. Secret Alliance. Secret Alliance team. Let's make
But
some picks here.
also,
How can we screw over the
imagine
other
this.
teams?
In some fantasy world, it goes through all three of you guys, and I'm at the end of the snake. I get 2 picks, right? And for some reason, you lunatics didn't pick Avatar or Mission Impossible. I get them both. That's the
That's
dream,
true.
baby.
Snake
Okay,
will bite you.
Damn.
so
Makes
then
Yeah.
me
why would you
question
give
which
one of
movies
those
I need to pick
up?
right away.
Right.
Really, I think it's just like maybe I could convince Alex that this movie is gonna flop. 3 months before it happens, and like, hey, you want to trade,
Yeah.
man? And then secretly I'm like, that movie's gonna fucking hit.
That's why I'm
what
just
I mean?
like, trades can exist. I just like don't think they're really gonna happen.
But
I think it's pretty
imagine,
rare.
right? Yeah, it's probably right. But imagine,
It's
right,
just
situation where a director like quits a project, you learn about this news quick, and then you're like, maybe I can convince someone to take this
Okay,
shitty
yeah.
Right.
project off my
All
hands.
right.
Like
Right.
there's
I'm
that's what
down.
research and other shit. Yeah.
Mind
or
games.
another scenario is out of spite, one of you takes Mission Impossible from me. All right, you can hold that over my head because I'll
I
trade my
might.
fucking left
That's my
nut
first
for
pick.
I was
Mission
thinking about it
Impossible.
already. I mean,
I
Do
will
whatever I
note it.
want with
I'll
that
remember
pick.
that.
You might see me
I've been
cry
looking for a
if
third
you take
nut.
it from me,
Yeah.
but it's something to have. It's good leverage for me, at least.
Right.
Mhm.
No, there's some
It'll
hard
probably be
hard picks
highly
out.
rated though too.
I don't know. I'd have to look
Exactly.
up like what else is coming out around it, and
Yeah,
like because
right. Release
the first
dates.
part of it didn't do that well, right?
But the
No.
ratings were through the roof on it.
The
It
ratings were
had like
good.
98% on Rotten
Maybe a
Tomatoes
couple
or 90 something.
awards. I have a feeling that the second one's gonna do better. I think
It
like the
is.
Top
It's
Gun
like the
Maverick
last
cycle has
one.
already kind of
Yeah.
like reset enough to like get a little bit
I
more
could be
audience.
wrong, but I feel like the other one came out at the same time as like some bangers too. I could be wrong,
It was in the
but like
mid
Followed
I feel like
Oppenheimer
that
and
kind of
Barbie.
Oppenheimer.
How do
yeah.
you
Yeah.
So
follow
that stole some of its
Oppenheimer and
money.
Barbie? Yeah.
So
For
like
sure.
I'm just like that's some stuff we have to take into consideration. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
100%, man. 100%. That's the fun shit that I talk
Yes,
about.
sir.
Brother.
Because
Right.
like you
I'll
could get two movies that are gonna like disqualify each other, like
mhm.
True.
at least for like
Yeah.
money. Because like it's not
But
all about
Yeah.
the money either.
right, yeah.
Right.
Right.
True. I'll also like go through more of the potential movies and whatnot that could come out
Mhm.
this year and compile like in your list, Alex, or in your Excel sheet. You have the ones
Mhm.
that are dated or whatever. I'll have the ones that are like question marked
That'd
potentials.
be helpful because I only have like one on here. I think that. Oh yeah, I put like the new Saw movie. It says it's untitled, but I still put it on there because it's slated to come out. It just doesn't have an
Wasn't it like
official title.
Saw 14
Mhm.
or something, some shit like that?
Saw
It's like
11,
12.
but yeah,
Jesus
I
Christ.
yeah. So there was a couple that were like the limited release that didn't were like a TBD, and I was just kind of like, they're limited release. I'll just leave them off until they're announced.
Mhm.
But yeah, no, I'll share this with you once I get my picks off of here. Um,
Cool. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll do some
Cool.
research. I'll make sure we're like before we start the draft, everybody has like the same pool of
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
choices because I don't want it to be like I know all this shit that people don't know. You know.
I'd
Right.
appreciate that. My research. I mean, I saw fucking 14 movies this last year, so
Yeah.
like
It's on you to
I'm gonna
research the
I'm a,
potential, but you'll know
right.
you'll know the
Yeah.
title and you'll know it's there.
I'm gonna have to
It's
pick
the
that
Oh,
shit up
how
for the
we
draft.
saw my list this year. Wait, so like,
the Crow,
was there a
baby.
definitive winner, or did I tie with somebody for the win this year for the summer
No, I think we
box office?
tied, right? But you said
Yeah,
I
it
could
was
Yeah.
it
win,
was a
so
tie.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. I do remember saying that, but like, I don't know. I just remember that we tied or something, and like I gave it to you because like number two was the Crow for me. So I mean,
yeah, it was just an embarrassment
I tried to
for
do the
me.
research. It was a fucking wild card pick. I thought it was gonna do good. Like
Mm.
I didn't know the fan base was gonna
Yeah.
like
Well,
turn on
now
it, and
think about it
also
this
the
way,
movie was
Joe.
just gonna
Immediately
be
they
that
turned on it.
bad.
Oh
Like,
yeah, they turned on it right when they heard about it. But now you've
Yeah.
learned that lesson for this
yeah.
exercise. Like you
Right.
needed to learn that lesson. You needed that low. You know.
Like,
Mhm.
don't go balls to the wall with Captain America: Brave New World. All right, because
Probably
honestly,
won't.
don't
I
do it.
don't think it's gonna make that much money actually,
Right.
because I think
I
it
think
comes.
Yeah,
people have
Well,
signed off on
that's not even gonna be an option actually, because we pick after the Oscars,
yeah,
right?
that's the thing. That's in
Oh
So
shit,
that's in
February.
that's true.
March, and I think Captain America comes out in February.
Yeah.
it.
So,
Gotcha.
do we want to pick into 2006 or 2026 too, like into January of next year, maybe?
I guess
Oh,
we
that's
should check what the
interesting.
Oscar cutoff is for like
That's fair.
qualifications. I think and play to that potentially for picks. Then,
Hmm.
but then that means we could pick like ones that came out in January now,
So here's a
unless we just
brilliant
say we
AI
can't.
answer to that question.
Yeah.
Depends on when the film has its theatrical release. Thanks AI. You fucking kidding me?
It's like I don't want to do this work right now. Shut up. It depends.
January 1st and June 30th okay. AI is stupid. All right, I'll figure it out.
Yeah, it's. I
Dude,
mean, the
it's
rules are
listening to
stupid.
you.
Hey AI,
Yeah,
if you're
you gotta be
listening,
nice
go
to it.
fuck yourself.
They're gonna kill you first, man.
Nah, the Oscar rules are dumb. Honestly, like you should just have the Oscars at the end of the year, in my opinion. Like,
Honestly,
Right.
why are we doing it in February? What
just
the fuck?
yeah. All right, well,
Yeah,
we'll iron that shit out
or at
too.
least
Figure out
like
the dates.
January. You know, I
Yeah,
feel like
Right.
it should at
Beginning
let's
of
least
do
be
the
like
March
year.
and
this
January.
month.
We could add a new metric too, to it if you wanted to add like a fun category and like have it to where it's like golf scores, so it's kind of the opposite. You want to get lower ratings. I don't know. Maybe a fun
Mm.
category there.
Like
Oh,
the
like the worst
one
movies of the
worst.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, worse
That could be
like
fun.
you get one
Yeah, we
bad
could pick
movie.
something that's gonna like make the least amount of. Well,
Right.
that
It's
could
gonna
be
be
It might
hard to
hard.
be
do, actually.
right.
Should we
Yeah.
just do a
That could be
couple
like a
fun
bonus.
categories like that where it's like this is a specific slot you pick and it's only weighted in one way like that? I could do a couple of those,
Yeah,
you know, or
I
whatever.
like that idea
Yeah,
too.
I don't mind
You
that.
Kind
make
of like a
more
wild
points
card.
the higher the score is, or the
Right.
lower the score is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Something interesting like that. I'll think on it too for some other ones.
Man, I wonder what
Yeah.
like the lowest rated movie from 2024 was. But I guess
I'm
you would
gonna
have to
guess
like.
February.
it's
There's
Madam
a
Web.
Honestly, I bet that it's
mm,
Badlands or
Super Mario, Craven the
Borderlands.
Hunter.
Borderland.
Yeah, let
Yeah.
me check. I'm
Just because
curious.
I just remember Borderlands had like fucking 3% or something on Rotten Tomatoes, even though it wasn't the
Jesus.
worst. Like, which I guess I didn't see it, so I don't really know that. But
Me
like,
neither.
I
Here
heard
is what
It's
AI
rough
came
though.
up with. Movies that are considered to be some of the worst of 2024. Red One, agreed.
Mm,
The
Hell yeah.
Garfield movie, The
Oh,
Crow,
yeah.
alright.
Cool Man,
What?
Madam Web, Borderlands. So yeah, pretty much all of them.
Wow, Megalopolis
Borderlands
and
on
the Joker weren't
Letterboxd
even
has
on
a
there.
1.5, and Madam Web also has a 1.5. So I think those are the two
Hmm.
lowest I can see.
Yeah.
That's
Dude,
fucking low, man, for an average. That's crazy.
so are we?
Night Swim
Are we?
1.7. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask, are we gonna? Should we like replace our top 10 video or stream with this fantasy type thing? What do you guys think? Should we do both?
For next year?
Yeah.
I'd say probably both.
I
Okay.
agree. I
Do like
love doing like top 10 lists personally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I kind of
Yeah.
like
I
it
like it.
too.
do
Yeah.
that like end of the year, early January, then do like the draft stuff February,
hmm
Oscar stuff or whatever.
Okay. Cool.
Sweet.
Let's see.
Yeah,
So
I've
I
been
will try to
making.
let's try to get
Yo,
this solidified by. Wait, the Oscars are in March? No.
I don't know. This says March 2nd.
Oh,
Are you
probably.
fucking me?
I'm serious.
That's how
And
they
it
do.
says last year they were like March 14th or something, I think. So, like, I think they're usually
Jeez.
in March.
So I feel like we should
Crazy.
draft early in the year then. Because this year's Oscars don't really matter. But that means we would draft for next year before we know the results of the last year. You know what I'm saying?
So we're drafting for 2026 awards, which will happen in 2027, without the knowledge of what happened in 2025. That's what you're saying. Did I just fucking
So in
make that more
2026,
confusing?
in like January, you would draft for 2026, which
Yeah.
in movie dumb fashion bleeds into 2027. And then in
Right.
2027, in early January, you would draft for 2027.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you don't know when you drafted in 2027, you don't know if you won yet or
A
who
lot of
won
long-term
because the
thinking,
Oscars
guys.
haven't come yet. You know,
Right.
like
It's only 2025.
Mhm.
yeah,
Listen, this is the 5-year plan of the fantasy league, man.
right. Starting it right here. Got to set the groundwork.
God damn, I didn't even. I thought it was in February. That really, just.
Yeah,
I
so
mean, it's
like
the end
if
of
we
February.
if we just did it like now, are we
Yeah.
gonna include like I don't pretty much any movie after the draft that comes out in 2025?
Yeah, that's what I would say. Because
And
I think
maybe up
like
to like the same period in the next year that we
Yeah.
draft, like the same
right.
day.
That's what I'm saying. I think we should do because some movies right now potentially could be Oscar
Right.
worthy for next year's Oscars. I think, but I don't know the
Yeah.
dates. So
Honestly, I
you,
don't think so for for anything up until March, to be honest. But
oh
I
yeah,
could be
right.
wrong.
As quality
Could be wrong.
goes, yeah,
Dude, you
100%.
don't think Captain America's gonna win some Oscars?
No,
Hey,
but
visual effects,
maybe
maybe.
Dogman might. Who
That's
knows?
true. Yeah. I just feel like you
Actually,
don't want to
September
ever
5th.
exclude movies just because they're in like a date that we're
Right.
not ready for. You know what I'm saying? Like,
So, do we want to be ready by next week? Do we want to have all this ironed out and be ready to draft by next week then? Or
I'll leave it to you. I could probably get it done just because I'm a fucking baller, but
Yeah, like if we
I'm
do the
game.
draft, I would say let's just do that with no director's dive. So then
I
it
can dig
gives
that.
time to
Yeah.
at least
Yeah.
like research
Prep it.
instead of
Yeah,
watching
yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
And for Villeneuve's next one, are we going to do another double? Or what's the idea for that one?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine with that. It's what Sicario and
Is it Rival?
Yeah, I'm
Perfect.
cool
Yeah.
with either we do 2 director's dives, or if you want to do 1 director's dive and we do a movie chest and start that back up too. I'm down for whatever. Because
All right.
Denny
We'll
has
talk next
like
week then.
like less movies.
Yeah, that's
Right,
true.
we're on
I
my
mean,
way
way
to get
less
through
than
'em.
Linklater, So I mean, we're
This
gonna fly through
is-
them if we do 2 at a time.
Yeah, yeah.
For sure.
Next week is, or the next movie is Enemy, and then Sicario.
What is
Oh, it's Enemy
Enemy
and Scratch.
about?
That's the only
The
other one I haven't
poster
seen.
and stuff always
About
like makes it look like fucking really creepy to me.
Here it's a mind fuck of a movie.
It's
That's
like a
all.
Yeah.
doppelganger. It's like a guy finds his exact lookalike, and they either one of them
Oh,
tries to steal his life, or they
fuck.
make a deal to trade lives, something like that.
That's
Mhm.
creepy as fuck.
Shit gets
It's been
out
a
of
while since
hand.
I watched it.
I don't like this.
So next week we're gonna be ready to draft. That's the plan.
I'm ready.
Yeah, just give me
Let's
the
iron the
documents,
All right.
deets out
and
the
then
next
So
days.
I will. Yeah. So our group chat will be lively with ironing out details. I will also get this shared to you
where
as well.
did you
Anybody
post
else
all
want the
this
spreadsheet?
shit? Actually, yeah, I'll
In
take the
Discord.
spreadsheet.
I put it in announcements on Discord. The
Okay,
the
gotcha.
ratings and how things are
'Cause, yeah,
weighted and
I didn't get like a
examples.
notification when you even did it either, so I was just curious.
That sounds like a you problem, Joe.
I know it is.
Turn on your fucking notifications, dude. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, what the fuck?
Fuck you guys.
So okay, this sounds like it could turn
Sounds
out
fun,
pretty
man.
good.
I'm
Pretty
excited.
good.
Yeah, this would be
I'm
cool.
gonna get off this call and I'm gonna start doing some research. Honestly, so,
Exactly.
I'm just gonna wing it.
yeah,
I'm gonna do all my
I hope
we do a
research like
little bit of
sound
research.
strategy, Cotton, but we'll see.
pick them as they come.
honestly, I feel like that's how I work with like the summer box office things too. I'm just like,
Oh, so that's
fuck
why
it,
you
yeah,
picked
this
the
is gonna be
Pro.
a banger, and then it turns out to be the
100%.
Pro. I don't know.
I'm, just,
Like,
I'm so paranoid that someone's gonna take my movie. Like I just
Yeah.
want one movie, you know, and
it's number one on my list right now.
I'm
Right?
freaking the fuck
It's on the
out.
radar.
I gotta
God,
form
it's
some strats. Gotta think it through.
Yeah,
it's
Yeah.
gonna
Not
be
yet.
yeah, I'll
tough.
probably look through. I don't know. I'll have some
A
free
little-
time. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Little research for sure.
I'll share this spreadsheet too. Just like post your email addresses so everyone, because this is where we're gonna just list the movies, but don't like put your picks on here unless you want us to see what you're strategizing about. So
Okay.
Hell
Cool.
yeah.
Cool.
All
You guys
right.
want to sign off then?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Next week we're gonna draft it up. Let's go.